Hey, it's Tuesday, August the 8th. It's the 8th day of the 8th month of 2017.
You
thought I was going to say 18.
And it's the 8th episode of the Giant Bombcast.
It's not 2018 yet.
Okay. All right. We deal in facts here in this podcast, and we can say with some certainty it is not 2018 yet.
Nor will it ever be.
All right.
Oh, that's also a fact.
Fact.
We're going to get there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What's going on, y'all?
Fucking end of the world. Yeah, no, just hanging out, doing my thing.
Yeah?
Getting my
thing?
phone on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. We like to keep it...
Fucking changing my password every 3 months.
We like to keep it Wi-Fi around.
Or whatever the hell
Yep.
company asked. I don't know.
Did you know you can change? So, yeah, they make us change our passwords every 90 days here.
Yeah. It's dumb.
It's
I've
corporate,
cycled.
But there's
it's corporate IT OPSEC.
And now, like, you know, there are more and more stories coming out about how that's like the totally wrong way.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it just leads to people choosing weak passwords.
Oh,
Yep.
sure.
And that the whole like
I've always got
should
like
not-
a 1-1 at the end.
I should not. I was
2.
just going to say I should not talk about my methodology for updating my password every 90 days, which is to just increment the number at the end.
Yeah, and so there's been some stories finally challenging the old password restrictions about like, oh, you should definitely require a capital letter and definitely do this. Like more and more people are doing the research and saying that is all wrong. And I'm hoping that that'll eventually trickle down to the people that make our Wi-Fi policy or whatever, you know, just that'll eventually trickle out to more and more sites that have all these bullshit password requirements and whatever. I use a password manager at this point, so you know, I don't have to remember most of my passwords anymore anyway, but
I thought it was a cool day when that happened to me here, and I tried to reconnect to the Wi-Fi, and it let me change my password as I was connecting to the Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
no, I don't know. And then as soon as you change your password, you drop off of email and the Wi-Fi network, all this other stuff. You have to like sit there and so now I have to two-factor a billion times to get back on and
spend half an hour updating all your passwords.
You realize you left your phone in
application.
another room, and so you have to leave the studio and walk over to your desk and go get your phone.
People wonder what makes up our day.
fucking dumb
Two-factor
bullshit.
off,
Yeah.
Sometimes you leave your phone in a cab or something.
Yeah.
Then you can't get
You
into
can't
your
get your
email
email at all.
or anything. Yeah.
It's a great time.
Yep.
Never happened.
Yeah. Technology is the best.
Computers is the barrel monkeys.
I got in the habit of making my like important passwords just like sentences or phrases in college.
Yeah, I thought I didn't. I read somewhere
That
it
is
was like
the recommendation.
Yeah,
that
like
if
just
it's just
four
like
regular English words.
yeah,
strung
random
together.
words or
because
you know,
the lab computers passwords were always different variations of journalism majors only with like different caps and stuff, and so I just took that methodology into my normal password, and so that's the password to my bank account, my
just journalism majors
social-
only with a bunch of zeros instead of O's and
my social security online documents. If you want to access those, my birth certificates, it's all journalism majors only, but you don't know which letters are like capitalized.
yeah,
so
and no one
I'm
will ever
safe.
figure that out.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
I'm totally safe.
yeah.
They definitely couldn't just try capitalizing it for
What?
No, definitely not. That's,
What do you? No, because you only get like
No, I said they can't do that.
yeah,
Like,
you, only,
don't have to worry.
you only get like 2
You're fine.
tries.
yeah, and then it's like, hey, stop.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, I guess that's that.
You're totally fine.
100%.
Yeah.
Hi.
What's going on, Jeff?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fucking
Good weekend?
No.
Okay.
It's been a fucking train wreck, man.
Why?
Because I took a bit of a vacation last week about this time. I was getting back into town from the vacation I took over the weekend, and then immediately got sick. And then as I was getting better, my wife got sick, and now she is kind of cleaning up she's kind of on the tail end of her being sick. So it's just been a fucking mess. It's just
Tail end, huh? Does that
just
mean this cat has it now?
Yeah.
That's
No,
how
the
it
cat
works.
the cat is sick in ways that hopefully no human will ever be. God, yeah, it has just been a fucking real shit show around the house lately. No, I don't mean that literally. It's not like we're not.
Not that
It's
kind of
literally
sick.
not
Yeah.
a shit show.
No, we are not pooping our pants.
Running a real convalescent.
Say, hey, look at this.
Well, check this out. Poops.
It's just yakety sax starts playing and everything happens.
Yeah,
at
everything
once.
in fast motion, and it's just like shit splattering everywhere. It's crazy. No, it's just it's really been a fucking rough week. But yeah, it's been fine now. It's like everything is okay now, or getting to a place over the next 24 hours,
Yeah.
let's say.
Let's look forward to a nice, calm, normal routine week
Shit, man.
in which I definitely will not go to the International. For sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
100%.
How is that even still a...
Even though I've been looking at flights every morning for the last 3 days.
When are you going to go?
I'm not.
Finals.
When are you going to go to the International?
Definitely, for sure, totally, probably not going.
Because it started, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are you doing here?
I don't
It's
know.
happening right now.
Why didn't you go to
over
the
there.
International?
I would never go for the full week.
Okay.
Like, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
That's too much. That is way too much.
I would go for the full week.
Would you really?
Yeah.
I know
Because I want to
people-
go once,
Yeah.
and I want to just go for the full week one time.
I just think
and
it's-
be done with it.
It's too much.
I mean, you don't go for
So,
every game. Like you
Yeah,
come
yeah,
in, watch
yeah.
a few with your friends, and then go do something.
That
in
is-
You're just like,
Seattle.
hey, we're having a week in
Yeah.
Seattle. We
Yes.
sure got drunk a bunch.
That's the
Yeah.
argument.
Yeah,
That's the argument that my friends that do go for a week make.
Yeah.
Is we're not going to be in there for every match. Like we're going to be out doing stuff and then just watch.
Whereas
here and
like
there.
here, I'm gonna watch as many. I'm gonna probably watch. I would probably watch less matches there than
Oh yeah.
here.
Like everything else, the worst way to experience or to absorb it is to go to it.
Yeah.
Like you can definitely see more of it from afar than if you were to be in it. Except now they do that thing where they shackle you to the arena so you can get those custom item drops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got to get them drops.
Anyway.
My understanding is that twofold here. One, Planet Dog renamed itself to
Yes.
some other
Who-
sponsored
Hell
bullshit.
is.
They're out, right?
Oh yeah.
And two, they're no longer
Eliminated by
participating.
Team Secret. Captain of that team, his name is Puppy. So it really makes you think. Like maybe if they kept the
What?
Planet Dog thing, you would
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a little bit more trouble
Yeah,
drafting
like-
against them. Little mind fuck.
Are they out?
Yeah.
Out?
Yeah.
Teams are getting straight. I thought
In
everybody
lower
was just
brackets,
dropping
just
to lower
best
bracket.
of
Oh,
one.
they're already playing lower bracket matches.
That's what the
Okay.
group stage was to determine.
Got it.
Fucking sports.
Yeah, right.
Let
I
alone,
never.
let alone esports.
I
just
never
all of it. I'm
exactly.
just
Like I
man,
fucking
fuck
like I
this.
was the last person to care about sports growing up, so I didn't know like what double elimination was until I started caring about Dota.
I was sitting on the train, following along with some matches on my phone. This is like the first year I've gotten really, I've casually enjoyed Dota and watched, like, rooted for a couple teams and wanted to see, some guys win before, but like,
What drives you to root for a Dota team? Is it like that guy's got a cool jacket?
It could definitely be as superficial as that.
Is there
yes, for
regionality
me.
to it where you're like, the
sorta,
American team? Because I know some
sorta,
people with fighting
eh.
games certainly.
I don't go in for that as much as some people seem to.
Yeah.
but
I go
sure.
in for that to a degree, but I also happen to like many of the teams or many of the members of the quote American team.
Is it play style where you're just like, man, fuck Chinese Dota?
There's some of that.
could be a
Although what Chinese Dota means seems to change dramatically from year to year.
I hear it means heroin this year.
Yeah.
that's
Okay,
basically,
yeah,
yes.
great.
I'm looking for some Chinese Dota.
I think it was TI4 was
It's a
the
Ramones
year,
song, I think.
Yeah, basically. I think TI4 was the year that everybody hated Chinese Dota.
Yeah, because
That's when it was super like reserved and boring.
it was just secure a slight advantage and then wait and wait
Yeah.
and wait. And
So
play
it was
safe
like,
and
fuck
safe
it.
and
It was
safe.
finding a good gun and hiding in a bathtub for an hour.
And, well, that analogy would
And
only
it
work.
was camping.
Okay.
It was just straight up camping.
That analogy would work if by hiding in the bathroom for 30 minutes your gun got more and more powerful every like 2 minutes or something.
You don't even know about what my gun does
Yeah.
in the bathroom, man.
give him
more
45 minutes in the bathroom and a gun. And
You're going to see some serious shit.
It was just like the least exciting thing to watch, but it seems like it's much more dynamic now.
the state of the game has shifted. The meta and the updates with the shrines and everything has shifted where it favors more of a aggressive early game.
It seems like that's what they've been working toward for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But China is pretty dominant again this year. It looks like.
But like, I was sitting there and I was watching a match between two teams. I wasn't really rooting for either of them to win. I was just kind of watching to see what was happening. And I was like, I had a flashback to watching my dad play a baseball game. But my dad was a big Giants fan. Watching a baseball game between like the Cubs and the Red Sox or something. And I'm just like, why are you even watching this? You don't like either of these teams. He's like, no, I just like baseball.
Yep.
And I'm like, what?
Just want to enjoy the beautiful game.
But now I'm just like, oh fuck, I get sports,
And that's
I
as close
understand
as,
sports.
that's as close as I got to this stuff is like when I had roommates, we would get the baseball package on DirecTV that, would let you watch almost every fucking baseball game. So like 9 a.m. every damn day, someone on the East Coast was playing baseball and you were like, well,
Guess I'm watching baseball today.
Guess I'm drinking and watching
and
baseball.
so that was definitely like the big part of it is like, well, we're going to sit on this couch and start drinking and watch all this baseball.
9 a.m.
And then sometime around the middle of the day, we'll order wings to be delivered.
Okay.
And we will continue to drink. And so that was like,
Completing the American trifecta.
yeah. And then at some point, the baseball would stop right around the time that the nighttime horse racing would start. So you'd change channels and watch horse races. And fucking by that time, you had been drinking all day. So you didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You're just like, fucking run, horse. One time we saw a horse named Slim Shady fucking haul off and kick a dude in the fucking face.
What?
Wow.
And it was the best shit I've ever seen.
Oh man, I wonder if video of that exists somewhere.
Fuck Eminem. Slim Shady the horse is the real aggressor.
It's the
How
real
long
Slim
was
Shady.
the track that he had to race around?
It was probably like a mile, quarter mile.
Okay.
Yeah.
They updated the track.
It was 8.
It's
Yeah.
either 8
They
times.
updated the
Yeah.
track this year, actually.
Oh, really?
For the first time ever. Yeah, it's a new track. Like they moved the spawn points and
Yeah,
everything. It's crazy.
Roshan is like at the fucking like the last furlong, and it really fucks with people. Les Onaka's whole fucking handicapping stuff is way off this year.
They put 2 jockeys on a horse sometimes just to adapt to the meta.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really screwed up.
I'd say as far as the TI stuff goes, the regionality isn't a big deal to me, except when one region is super dominant, and then it gets boring to me.
Do they ever have any,
which is right now China.
That's how it's turning out again this year, and that
Yeah.
kind of is a bummer. Like I want to see a top, say, 4 with I want to see one Chinese team, one American team, one
Like wildly
one-
different styles,
like one
and-
Russian team,
Sure,
like maybe
yeah.
a Southeast Asian team. Like I want
Well, I
to
mean,
see a
the
lot
winners, the first round of winners. So like the 4 best teams were EG, which is a North American team against a Chinese team, and Liquid, which is kind of a European North American team against a Chinese team.
Mm-hmm.
Both the Chinese teams soundly won, just like totally whooped them. So now it's just 2 Chinese teams left in the upper bracket, and then a couple Chinese, everyone else in the lower bracket who hasn't been eliminated.
Is it IG and LFY? Are those the favorites?
LFY and LGD.
LGD. Okay. I've been.
Oh wait, no,
sort
IG,
of paying
IG,
attention.
IG beat. Sorry, yes.
Okay.
Oh God. Oh wait, there's so much Dota. Maybe I'm
This
getting
is
it
our
wrong.
expert analysis desk.
Oh no!
Advice on
Oh,
who
my
to-
brain hurts.
These are the teams to watch. That one and I think that other one.
Your picks to click for Dota 2017.
IG did beat Liquid. You're right.
For a brief moment, I was number 1 on my friends list for fantasy points last week. So
All right.
that was pretty exciting.
And I'm still feeling pretty good about my picks.
Yeah, I forgot to lock mine in for today.
Me too.
It's too late now. Shit.
Podcast is over.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
I don't know, Brad. Maybe we can. Maybe we'll be back sometime with some thoughts on TI.
Yeah, sure.
Forget Dota. Forget hats.
Uh-huh.
Forget hat whales.
Okay.
Talk about
Done.
boxes.
I want to be
Done.
I want to be the pants whale.
Oh boy.
That's my goal.
Oh, I had that in news. Unless
Yeah.
we just have to talk about it now.
I've
We just talk about it now.
talk about my sweet
talk
yellow
about-
tracksuit.
The only real news is that those items are very expensive on the marketplace.
Really?
I can hang on. I've got a thing here.
Check out how much school top costs.
Let's just
'cause
all right,
I'm,
fine. All right, fine.
I got 3 school pants
Let's
that
just-
I'm looking to move.
Let's just get it out of the way now. Hang on.
In Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, they
it's-
have rolled out their paid crate system in like the most fucking backwards, or I don't know, let's call it retro.
Yeah,
like, hey, we're
yes.
dropping crates and then you can buy keys.
retro for about 3 to 4 years ago.
Do they just like want to get into money laundering
We
the
drop-
fast, the quick way?
We drop crates, but you can also buy crates. I
thought-
And
Oh
buy,
yeah, yeah.
And buy the keys.
So that's what I did. Is I've now purchased 10 crates and then 10 keys to open said crates.
Well, you bought the crates off the marketplace
Oh
too?
yeah.
Huh.
And
You-
the crate price has been going down steadily
How much?
over time. It is
much are
now
we
about $2 a crate, $2 a crate.
I paid
those-
about $240 for
those-
mine.
I paid 3 for crates over the last weekend.
Initially, you were buying those with in-game currency, right?
You can.
That's what. Okay. Can you buy them from the developer for money?
No.
Or are you only on the marketplace? That's what I'm saying. And
No,
like, the
they're
source of
only on the
those-
marketplace.
The source
or
of those is only
the in-game
with
points
VP.
that you earn.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
turn
that's what I
1,200 of them into a paid crate.
That's what I meant. They're not selling those directly.
No.
Just the keys.
Just
Okay.
the keys.
Okay.
And then the marketplace is where all the other crates are. I wanted something fucking flashy after seeing all the battle royale school outfits and all the other stuff. And also, it's one of those cases where I can justify it to myself as like, I really like this game. I'm getting a lot out of it. I feel okay putting some more money into it.
Yes, you have illustrated exactly what I want to say every time somebody complains about spending money on Dota. Like it's just
yeah.
if you really like a game,
It's
kinda not a big deal
And
to put some
also,
money
like the
into it.
characters are large enough on screen to where I feel good about my yellow tracksuit being like visible to other players. Whereas I feel like in Dota, all that stuff sucks.
oh, it's great.
Because like the hats are small on
amazing.
screen.
No,
No,
they're
you
not.
can
They're
see
really
them.
not.
If you know how to look for it, you can see
Oh,
all
they're
the
really
hats.
not.
That
Especially
sounds
also,
like fucking the dumbest shit. It's like,
Also, if
you know how to look at the hats right.
Well, I mean, like if you
If you know the
look and
silhouettes
you
of the
see,
characters,
you
of
know.
course. But
And
it's still
they've gotten really advanced in their hat technology. Now it's all about the particles.
yeah, like
Yeah,
if anything, I would say a lot of the immortal effects are like too
Too much.
too flamboyant, like
Yeah.
too big, like that.
Juggernaut's all.
Like that, the cleave on that Sven sword that just came out.
Oh,
is
tell me about
insanity.
it. That cleave is nuts.
I don't even want it.
It's a
Who
big
cares?
blue laser.
Yeah.
I've-
Anyway,
You got your yellow tracksuit.
I got a yellow tracksuit and I feel pretty good about it.
Okay, just as a lead into this news story, I've been staring at that Lena amulet from last year. or 2 years ago, the one that makes her Laguna Blade look like a Dragon Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Dragon Ball Z fucking energy beam. The thing is like $90 on the marketplace. So I keep looking at it, but I'll never buy it.
Don't pay $90
not
for
going-
a
I'm not-
cosmetic
no,
item.
Brad, I can also tell you, don't pay
I'm not
$90
going
for
to
a
do
Dota
it.
item.
I'm not going to do it, but there's no other way to get it, so I'm very unhappy. But anyway.
Is that a character you use?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, okay.
I just recently started actually playing Lena some, and she's awesome. She's super fun.
See, what happens is when you pick your character in the loading screen, it just shows you all the different hats you could
That's the
be
problem.
wearing.
Are you serious?
That's
Oh,
the problem.
that's
When you literally when you pick
cruel.
when you pick a character, there's a line of items on the marketplace at the bottom that you could literally like.
And if you mouse over it, it like shows it on the character you have selected.
Also-
like, look how cool it is, man.
also, even after all the picks are locked in,
That's
they
fucked
give
up.
you 30 seconds of strategy time, which I'm pretty sure is actually just, hey, you have enough time to buy and equip this item before this match starts.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Pretty sure that's what that
It's
is.
pretty terrible.
Anyway, just short of $500 is what the purple miniskirt is selling for.
Understandably
On the
so.
market-
Holy
Marketplace.
shit.
That's I pulled this Kotaku story. They went on the marketplace and like looked at
Yeah.
Battlegrounds items.
I've been checking item prices here and there.
486.93 is the most expensive purple miniskirt they found. Let's see, what else is a lot?
I got a matching white school top with white school pants and the 2 crates that I bought, so I'm like extremely happy with my Battlegrounds
Yeah,
purchases
in and
so
out,
far.
2 crates done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nondescript hot pants for $287.
That's what they call me.
$287.50.
All right.
MC nondescript hot pants.
Yeah.
So you guys maybe should go make some money.
I can't because I have to wait a full week before you can sell the stuff that I bought.
Yeah.
Before it becomes marketable.
God, just a week.
Yeah, I have to
Some of
wait-
those- some of
I
those-
actually I think that's coming up. I think I have to wait until tomorrow
some
or
of those
something.
Dota items are like 3 to 6 months before
Some are
you can.
never.
Some are never.
Yeah, but my 3 pairs of school pants, 2 of those 3 will be hitting the marketplace as soon as I'm able.
So keep an eye out there.
That's right. For my school pants, they're better than the others. I hope that they do like the full Counter-Strike stat track shit too.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and just go like these pants. You've crouched 8,000 times
That would be
while
awesome.
wearing these pants.
That would be good.
like
They
a bunch of dumb
they should definitely
statistics
do
around
These
the
fingerless
clothing.
gloves have gotten 33 punch kills.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
that would-
perfect.
that would be really good.
Yeah, they need to, and that's whatever. It's early access. I know people are complaining about the way this stuff is done, and obviously like microtransactions in games are still like a fucking hot topic for people to get angry about.
I got no problem
Which I'm
with
sure
the
we'll talk
concept.
about later.
Yeah,
no
yeah,
problem.
totally. Like this case, I think makes a lot of sense. And it's a multiplayer game where you're showing off your stuff to other people, and you're like, that guy in the yellow tracksuit fucked me up, and I'm like, yeah, I did.
I can't.
Let's say in fucking Shadow of War, where they're just gonna straight up sell crates.
Gonna sit here and cannibalize the
Less
entire
so,
news segment.
But I'll say the best part about this is you're wearing these really nice cosmetics. Say you spend $500 and buy that item, and you go into the battle and you just get killed right away, and somebody else just gets to
Yeah,
walk up and wear
totally.
your,
They get to fucking
wear
take-
your cosmetic for the game and just like
I want hardcore servers where all fucking loot transfers. Where if someone kills you and they take your shit,
you get
that's
like
their
a
shit
ton
now.
of points if you win.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, and all the fucking clothing.
yeah.
That's not bad.
You should be able to walk across the island after
Just
you finish
strip
it
everyone.
and steal. Yeah, strip everyone.
You
nude.
have to wear clothes. You can't go in nude.
Yeah,
No nudes.
no nudes.
I can never fathom
nude
the-
servers.
I can never fathom the amount of ire around cosmetic microtransactions. Like, I don't get why people get so angry about something that is utterly irrelevant to the way the game plays.
I tend to agree.
Like
I
every
think
time,
that, you
every
know,
time we post something about Dota, like that thing where you open all your card packs, like,
yeah.
like you get the standard litany of complaints of just like, oh, this is the most exploitative thing I've ever seen, and it's just like this game is free, and you can play 100% of it for free. Like it's nothing that affects.
But also, like they pull all the levers. Like
It's
they
the
brought in
stuff around
economists
it.
and behavioral scientists.
Obviously,
Like,
yes, there are
the mere
psychological
presence of that
components to
stuff
it.
is not the exploitative part.
Yeah.
it's the way
It's the
that
pachinko machines and roulette
it's
reels.
the check out this
and-
flashy shit we put in here to try to get you to spend money on these.
Sure, but
skins.
I know people that have never spent a dime on that.
Oh,
game
totally.
and have
Yeah,
played
and
thousands of hours.
and
of it,
that's
you know?
and they're stronger people, and they're
yeah.
better than us. That's fine. I'm willing to accept that.
Sure.
But yeah, I when it comes to the cosmetic stuff, like it's fun.
Yeah,
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
that stuff is fun.
it's
And if people want to spend a little bit of money and have that sort of stuff, like that, I can't get mad at.
Yeah.
When stuff starts to have in-game stats,
Totally.
or when it's
Yeah,
just like
that's over the
you know,
line.
you can
for
still
sure.
sit there and say like, well, you don't have to buy them, but like this Shadow of War stuff is like them. It's like the days of when EA was selling fully leveled up golfer for Tiger Woods $4, and you
yeah.
know, just straight up
Yes.
like here's better shit.
right.
And that's a problem.
We've talked about this enough now. We just have to cover it.
Sure.
Now.
Sure.
They announced, was it yesterday? A couple days ago, sometime over the weekend, that, Shadow of War, the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, is going to have a bunch of microtransactions.
Like you're buying, you can earn the loot boxes in game.
Yeah, we should reiterate, we talked about it before, but they're going way more RPG with this one. Like, it's got color-coded loot, like you've got a character level. It's much more of like an actual stats-heavy RPG than the first one was. Now they're capitalizing on that by selling a lot of those items that you would otherwise earn. Loot chests contain gear, weapons and armor of varying rarity. That's basically straight up, items with stats.
Yeah.
War chests provide orc followers of varying rarity to help forge a strong army. XP boosts are consumables that help level up Talion faster. Bundles package up loot chests, war chests, and boosts together at a great value.
Ooh. Is it the best value? So this just sounds like them selling shortcuts across the board, because that is all stuff. You will earn loot over the course of the game. You will recruit orcs over the course of the game. But hey, let's say you, for some reason, want to play this game without actually playing this game.
Yeah.
Here you go.
It's that.
They're providing the option.
If you're
I don't know.
If you're the obscenely wealthy investment banker who plays games 30 minutes a week and you just want to buy your way to finishing the game,
I guess.
Here you go.
Yeah, it's just that stuff just seems dumb. But at the end of the day, I can't necessarily. Well, you have to trust that they aren't then balancing the game in such a way, and in a way that then inspires you to want to spend money. If it's like, oh, all the loot is shit, but then I bought this crate, and oh man, all the best stuff I've ever seen dropped out of it, and that's the only, probably the only realistic way people are going to get that stuff, even if they say it's all earnable, then that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have not encountered very many games that have been exploitative in that way.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll see games that have pre-order weapons or something like that, and they're good for maybe the first
hour.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, this is actually.
But this is something that you can quickly out level, and then you're required to not required, but you're certainly urged to spend more money to get more loot.
In cases where pre-order items have been super good, I almost feel like I'm being shortchanged or they're counterproductive because I'm like, oh wow, I'm missing out on like half a dozen or 10 weapons that would have been cool to try because this thing is always so good.
The only good pre-order items I can think of, it was maybe one of the Assassin's Creed games, but there was something where it was like, hey, here's an outfit that like triples your inventory space. Or it was Dead Space. It was the fucking Dead Space.
Yes, Dead Space is a great example because it's like, oh, all these armors look different and they have cool effects on them, but I'm never going to take off this pre-order thing
because and that was fucked up. And ended up feeling shortchanged in the cosmetic sense because like you kept finding all this armor that was weaker or worse than the stuff you had.
Yeah.
But also you had this in-game benefit. Like
you feel like you're leapfrogging like a significant amount of game design that was put in place for you to
that's
experience.
Probably bad balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That stuff sucks. But I feel like Warner has been on the, like, maybe some of the bad end of microtransaction stuff as of late. Well, I guess actually...
I'm trying to think if Batman had anything ugly.
I don't think so.
I don't remember. Like, Injustice 2 has... Like, you can buy the crates in that, but you fucking get so many boxes all the time in that game that you'd be crazy to do it. They're kind of selling costumes, sort of, in there with a currency that you can grind.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I go back to like Mortal Kombat X as having like buy easy fatality tokens,
right?
As like something that's like philosophically at odds with the history of that franchise, and shitty consumable tokens for doing fatalities with one button is just like the sad. It's sad.
I'm certainly not going to like write this game off out of hand or anything, but it is mildly concerning to see this stuff.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
We won't know until we dig into the game and say like, well, gee, I'm never getting any purple items here. I wonder if I would if I was buying chests.
Guaranteed purple item, best value. Yeah, that's that's the concern, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Yep. There's nothing concerning about a purple miniskirt though.
No, that's cosmetic stuff. Let me spend money to look dumb and differentiate
especially
myself.
In a game that's about you and 99 other people dropping into a space together to fight.
Yep.
You got to show off your duds.
Yeah, I think that's just fine. Not that I would ever recommend that anyone spend that kind of money on a purple miniskirt.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've seen some stores that have
buy the boxes and roll the dice, man. Maybe you'll just get one for free, or for $3 instead of
for $450.
$450. Yeah.
Okay, before we move on, what's the deal? Those chests are going away? at the end of the month?
The crates that have keys associated with them. There's 3 types of crates in the game. 2 are earnable for free, though you can buy those on the marketplace as well. And they have a Gamescom Invitational crate for this month.
Okay.
And those crates you can get for more points than the other crates.
Okay.
You can grind those out. But to open the crates, the keys are $250 a pop.
But the keys are a fixed value because you buy them from
exactly.
But the value of those crates is going to skyrocket when they are no longer available.
Definitely.
When you can no longer earn them in game,
I
think I better get some crates.
This game is never coming out of early access.
No, it will because what does early access even mean anymore?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
why do they ever have to?
No, because they might as well. Because they said they would, and whatever.
I mean, there is a bandaging animation now, so that thing might as well be finished.
Did you see?
Yeah, I guess.
Did you see the bug that PlayerUnknown tweeted out of the dude laying down on the side of the motor? Like, if you start bandaging yourself and go prone on a motorcycle, you like lay down on the motorcycle all sexy while you bandage yourself.
Nice.
It was hot stuff.
He's like, I don't know if we should fix this or not.
Definitely not.
That's good.
I'm voting don't fix that.
Me too.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But like, when you think about games, especially like big budget games that ship fucking broken, or the number of patches that something like Destiny saw over its lifespan, what's the difference between that and Fortnite and Battlegrounds and all this other stuff that's like, is early access or not early access? Like, the line is so blurry now.
Yeah.
Like, what you would consider a 1.0 release these days as an acceptable to ship game, the bar is way lower.
Yeah, Destiny had a lot of questionable design decisions, but what design was there was it
didn't crash.
It was
for
implemented well. Like, things worked. There are still just like fit and finish interface things in Battlegrounds that just don't
also
work right.
I think that's the sort of stuff that like you could finish by the end of the year.
Yeah, totally.
Does Destiny have crates?
Not yet.
I thought it totally did.
Destiny 2?
No, the first one.
Well, they had. I mean, you weren't buying items.
No, there was totally a crate.
You were buying.
You were getting free crates.
Emotes.
They added the free crates, the weekly thing. You open a crate.
Caves.
Yeah, no, there are totally crates. There is
yeah.
absolutely a form of crate.
Can't wait to see what kind of crates we're gonna get in Destiny 2.
Yeah.
They look like glowing 20-sided dice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does the top like?
There's no
does it
real
open up the
opening.
half
You
or
go,
the top? Or
No, you go identify the item at a guy like Diablo. You walk up to Space Deckard Kane.
Yeah, you go to talk to the Cryptarch and do his cryptography, and you get an item out of it.
Yeah.
We're never going to get to actually talk about games that are out at this rate, but two days ago? Yes, it was 2 days ago. Luke Smith tweeted, "Hey, the next time it is the 6th of a month, we will all be playing Destiny 2." And I was just like, holy shit. That's a month away.
That comes out next
That's
month.
less than a month away.
Yeah, that's pretty soon.
Destiny 2 is less than a month away.
You guys want to play some Destiny?
I would like to play some Destiny 2.
Yes.
I would like to. I'd like to play more than the first level of a Destiny game.
You could play.
You could do that right now.
You could.
I don't want to.
Fair enough.
I would like to do it.
You could use.
But I do not currently like to do it.
You could just use the level boost item and get to the good Destiny. If you want.
That's like Abby.
That's not. Yeah.
Skip to the good stuff.
Anyway,
see you in a month.
See me. Yeah.
Video games. Hey, hi.
There we go.
Can't live with them. Can't live without them.
Sure. What's going on?
Vostok Inc.
Yeah.
I've been playing some of that.
Yeah. All right, hit me.
It's a dual joystick shooter.
Okay.
Yeah, check.
It is also an incremental / idle clicker style game.
Okay.
Doesn't have clicking per
check,
se.
Check out. I'm out.
And so basically you are flying around in space, going to different planets, and then building things on those planets that earn you money.
Okay.
And so you are upgrading your ship.
Are you dual joystick shooting things when you get there?
No, the planets are just menus.
Oh.
The planets are just like buy menus, and then you leave the planet and fight in space. And it seems like the sort of thing that should be right up my alley. And I am getting some sick enjoyment out of it, but I just don't think it's a very good game. Like the dual joystick stuff is just kind of clunky and flat, and then the hassle of flying to all the planets in our solar system and then going to a wormhole and managing all the planets and stuff like that is a time-consuming process that is not actually that much fun. But I find it really weird that like that's where all this went. Or I mean, whatever, it's not a trend, but like if you think about the clicker, if you think about incremental games and idle games, and you go back to stuff like Progress Quest, it was this riff on like, what if we took the video game out of the game, and then you just got all the benefit.
And a lot of people took that lesson way too seriously.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, works. And then took the joke too far to a point where now, like, you know, like there are
now it's not a joke
mobile
anymore.
games making money, selling items, you know, free to play, all style, and all this sort of stuff. And then now here you have a game that is taking the lessons learned from that and putting it back into a video game. Which is a really fucking crazy concept of like, now they've added video game back to the not video game.
Is this a dual joystick shooter with idle elements, or is this an idle game with dual joystick shooting?
It's a dual joystick shooter with idle elements. Like you are flying around. But also, like, I'm not playing the game and I'm still accruing currency in the cloud, in Steam's cloud somewhere. So when I launch the game next, I'll have more money to buy more upgrades and then eventually get into a boss fight. And it's a sort of it's like a fascinating approach to like the upgrade mechanics and stuff like that in a game like this. You know, you're buying new weapons and upgrading your existing weapons and more boost and more health and, you know, kind of getting all this stuff. And it's fascinating to have all of that stuff kind of come out of an incremental game, right? Of like, okay, well now I've earned all this money. Do I spend it on upgrades? Or do I go spend it on stuff on these planets, like stuff on my outposts, to make the numbers go up faster? And it's just it's a weird fucking thing.
Weird.
And it's fascinating. Like I said, I don't think either end of the game is executed particularly well.
But if they were,
would
it be
this would be fucking great.
A good marriage.
It has the potential to be like a really cool thing.
Man, that's darkly ominous.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, but
this almost feels like what was that moment like 10 years ago where like BioWare or somebody said like, yeah, we see RPG mechanics as like the gravy on regular video games now. You remember that?
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like, and then remember when every game got loot and leveling like 10 years ago? Like, what if every game now gets idle shit?
Yeah, or like, hey, while you were gone, this happened,
right?
Or, you know, something like that. I mean, you know, when you think about live games, games as a service, all that other shit, there's probably a lot of room for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's already like kind of examples like that with online campaigns, like the Mortal Kombat clan stuff,
right?
You know.
Yeah. Like this thing, you know, the Injustice 2 has the multiverse, which is the same concept, basically. Is like for 48 hours, it's this challenge, and then it's going to rotate out to this other thing, and, you know, you can kind of earn currency that way and buy more boxes and whatever. Yeah, it is. But yeah, I mean, every game is an RPG in its own weird way, or every game has an XP bar. Yeah. And I feel like some people are definitely like lamenting, like, remember when games were fun just to be fun? Yeah. And it's like, but like that... Saying that is implying that like these games that have these mechanics aren't also fun,
right? Yeah,
which is the dumb thing I think about all that.
I kind of feel the same way when people grouse about achievements and say like, I remember when you just played a game to have fun and not to earn whatever. It's like nobody's making you go for achievements. Like, you could choose to never look at that list if you don't care.
And also, like, the early achievements were high scores and bragging about high scores, or finishing games and bragging about finishing a game.
Right. Speed runs, like there are a zillion ways to apply metrics to gameplay already.
Yeah, so like, you know, building in some of those metrics, not hurting anyone,
right? As
it turns out.
Yes.
Unless you fuck up and make bad multiplayer achievements that reward team killing, or fucking like, I got 100 kills with the worst weapon in the game. Makes me the shittiest teammate on your team. Congratulations.
Yep.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Dota quests do that.
I was trying not to say it. Yeah. I was trying not to go back to Dota again.
So Dota really is the worst game.
I have lost. I have probably brought about a loss before recently by.
I lost a game last night
playing badly because I was trying to do a quest that was counterproductive.
Oh. That sucks. Yeah, they shouldn't do that. That's bad.
Had Meepo go sheepstick first and made us lose the game.
Like I was doing one of those stun quests with Lion where it's like kill 6 heroes while they're under the influence of your stun, and it leads to you not using your stun when you should use it because like I want to wait till he's almost dead to stun.
Do you know why he's doing that?
Because he's
so he can get a hat
for hats.
So he can get a hat.
Man, that really does tie it all back together.
Yep.
Video games were a mistake.
Sucks.
We need to punch out of this whole thing.
All right.
Wait, that's a game though.
We need to super punch out of this whole thing. Yeah, that's.
I have a very good and pure antidote to this whole problem.
All right.
It's Hellblade.
Yeah.
I saw you playing some of that.
I did. I played a little bit of Hellblade.
That's actually the thing I really want to talk about.
I watched some Hellblade.
Did you watch some of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Jason, you played some of it?
Yeah, a little bit more after the quick look.
This is out now, right?
Yes, it came out last night. I finished it last night.
Yeah. It's
really something.
I was interested right off the bat with it, and then I kind of played 45 minutes or so, and I'm immediately now hoping that it has drastic changes to gameplay and stuff because I saw the combat and I saw the puzzle solving, and I was like, man, if it's just like a handful of hours of this, I'm already done.
It is that. I mean, they expand a lot of it, like the puzzles. It forks at one point. I don't know which way you went.
I've not hit
Did you not get to a fork yet?
No.
Oh, dude, you were not even out of the intro.
Okay,
like that's literally like the prologue.
Yeah, it's interesting, and like I'm not sure how I feel about the game tipping its hand this way right out of the gate, but like, you know, in the kind of very intro sequence, it's showing credits, and like the first credit is like mental health supervisor.
That's meaningful.
I mean, like as the game kind of, but it's meaningful in a way that like now I'm thinking about it, and now as it's this woman who has, you know, is hearing voices and all this other stuff, it's making me think about that stuff in a way that like in most games is natural. Like we don't question this sort of stuff. At least early on.
I don't think it's heavy-handed at all.
Yeah,
I think it absolutely earns that stuff.
I mean,
like
I'm not
more than earns.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying that like
it's suspect.
It's suspect, and now it has me questioning the very nature of the game along the way. Where I'm like, is this just going to pull out and it's going to be some woman sitting in an office building, what is?
I mean, A, no, but B, it's not worth treating that way. Like, the game does not handle itself that way.
Okay,
like,
that's the thing. Is like by putting that up front, it casts a shadow over the game of like how I'm now perceiving all of it.
I think it's ultimately a good thing.
Yeah,
I think it ultimately makes you more aware of what it's trying to do.
Sure.
And after watching the featurette, and
did you watch that before?
This isn't a story spoiler so much as like, you know, just wondering why they chose to take this this type of approach. And originally this was just supposed to be like a character action game, you know, and like the hook was, you know, that, you know, she had some form of like voices in her head. And, you know, as they started researching that, they're like, wow, we really don't know a lot about this. I want to learn more. And then, you know, so it turned into like, you know, just trying to keep it like as accurate as possible to also like as sensitive as possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely went down that road.
We should probably say, if people don't know, this is the new game from Ninja Theory.
Yeah,
right.
Makers of Heavenly Sword, Enslaved.
This is such an interesting project for them because
the DMC reboot.
They're treating it, you know, with like a small portion of their studio, like 20 people or something like that.
Oh, was it not the whole studio?
No, as far as I know, they were treating it very much like an indie, like AAA.
Yeah, so it's only $30. It's probably 6 hours, maybe a little more,
6 to 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's not like multiple branching paths. You mentioned that, but it's not like multiple endings.
So I was super surprised at what it is, because every game they've made is like a full-on character action game with
like very frenetic.
Right. Well, not only that, but you know, like with a skill tree where you're buying new combos, and like the camera is pulled out enough that you're handling tons of enemies.
This game reminds me of Rise.
Kinda, but it's not even as much of an action game as that. Like the camera is always very tight. Like it's very much more about exploring or not exploring the world, because it's very linear. But
the combat's there, but it's like it's not always there. Like you can't pull out your sword at all times.
Yeah, you only fight when you only even have an attack available when they want you to fight.
Right. And that's very like deliberate. It feels like like, you know, you're kind of squaring off one-on-one with people, or changing focus to another enemy. And
they start laying it on thicker toward the end, but in ways that kind of serve the themes that they're going for. But it's such like a wildly creative setting. Like it's basically this like mythical sort of tone poem about this girl's experience with like psychosis and mental trauma and like loss and all this stuff. But the tone of it is probably what strikes me the most, because it's very dreamy. It's very vague about the storytelling.
Deliberately,
There's not. It's obviously very intentional, but they're not like. It doesn't have like a super active plot as such. Like there aren't a lot of things happening so much as they are developing this character as she's on this like mythical vision quest kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like it's a hard thing to characterize, but like it's.
Like you never quite know. It seems like a lot of the story, quote unquote, that you do here is from the voices. Like, you know, you're kind of hearing them kind of whisper
sort of
around the edges about what she's doing, and some of that I think is in service of like, no, you need to fall down here to continue.
A little bit.
At least early on. It's definitely like a kind of hidden tutorial about like what to do and where to go.
So that stuff, it's hard to know how to talk about this without just sort of giving away how things go. Like you start encountering more entities in the world, if that makes sense. Like there aren't other characters bodily with you doing things, but like I would say the voices in her head are more about like depicting her specific challenges,
right?
Versus like there are characters external to her who start talking to you, and that's kind of more how you get her backstory in pieces. And
see, I think that's the thing about kind of letting people know up front that like, hey, that mental health is something we took seriously in the development of this game. Is it leads me to wonder like, okay, is any of that real? Is the because early on they're showing you how to open a gate and a character appears in front of you to tell you about it. I'm like, okay, this is just kind of part of that, right? Or not? Or like the questions become like I'm thinking about something larger than the game now.
Yeah,
and that's distracting me from being in the moment of the game.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was trying to get at earlier. I think people that go through this game trying to interpret everything about it literally are going to end up being very frustrated.
Yeah,
because it does not present itself literally.
Okay.
I mean, like
I could see them putting that there as to like kind of curb people ahead of time from being like, oh, this is just a game trying to take advantage of the idea of somebody with mental health issues, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
but it's them just saying like, look, we got a professional here. We're trying to treat it with like respect,
right?
And,
like if you watch that featurette, it was actually like 6 professionals that
really?
worked with like an entire department at a I think a university.
That's good. I mean, that's something in games we don't get.
Yeah, it's like the setting is very unique and the focus on character and like
I forget games like that's
internal,
something that like just doesn't
totally
and
get
media
dealt
and
with.
life
Period.
and,
Like the entire game, like it's just so refreshing to not have like yet another like big bad threatening the world that you have to take down. Like the entire antagonist in this game is her own internal struggle.
It's very personal.
Incredible. Yeah, it's a super personal story that's told and presented like incredibly well, just like expertly. Like you saw, well, you've played some of it. I mean, we saw some of this in the quick look. Like they use FMV elements in really cool, clever ways here and there, like mixed with the polygonal stuff. There are some other
to good effect, I think.
Yeah,
like it's a little strange, like Uncanny Valley, I guess, at first, because I don't know.
There are a ton of uses of perspective. Like you saw one at the very end of the quick look. Like I know you haven't gotten here yet, based on where you're at, but yeah, there are a lot of spots later on where the way you line up the camera with the world is very revealing of things.
Well, that's literally the puzzle solving in the game early on.
Yeah, but
like,
it's more than that.
Like hey, you need to. There's a door with an icon on it, and then you need to find that icon in the world, and then it's like, oh, there's a tree here that's half of it, and if I stand here...
It's not that. It's not shape-based stuff. It's more about alternate reality type stuff.
Okay, that sounds more interesting then.
Super well done.
Because I was looking at it as like, okay, it's like this really flat combat, and then occasionally I'm pulling some Riddler puzzles.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the game is that.
Reductively,
yes, it is a reductive way to talk about the game. I think the number one thing people are going to complain about, and rightfully so, is that, there are not a lot of like discrete activities that you do in the game. There's like 3 things.
Yeah. Don't go in thinking this is going to be another like Ninja Theory character action game.
Yeah,
it's totally not. But I mean, just right. Like those puzzles are. You're saying that it's kind of a perspective thing later on, but it's still just kind of like going out in the world and lining stuff up. Like
I'm not disagreeing. Like they're like I said, it's like you boil it down by the numbers. There are not a lot of different things you do in this game.
I don't want to.
But they find ways to make that meaningful.
Well, yeah, they change it up just enough.
Okay.
I mean, the combat never changes that much. There's like 5 types of enemies in the game.
It feels great at
first. There were times that even I was getting a little burned out on what you're doing, but again, like the imagery and like the thematic elements and just like the emotional struggle is so like incredibly well executed that I just kept going through it until I finished it. It's really impressive.
Cool. And it's just super interesting that
$30 like good nice length, like it feels very meaty but without overstaying its welcome too much. But I do think some people, it's not going to work for a lot of people, probably.
Sure.
But I am super pleased that a game like this actually got made, because it's not something you see very often.
Yeah, it's risky for a studio like this.
I wasn't really sure what it was they were making. I mean, I feel like they announced this game or talked about this direction for them a long time ago. In kind of taking on some of these smaller projects.
So is that what's going on? Like they're doing other stuff in addition to this?
They didn't specify as to what else they were working at the time, but my impression was that it was a smaller team.
And so somehow in my head I had gotten it that this was a side scroller until just before release, because it feels like there hasn't been a lot out there saying here's Hellblade.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if that's going to, it being a very different type of game or a different pace than people are used to from some of their previous work. Like, I wonder if that's going to maybe rub some people the wrong way, too.
Maybe. Like I said, I went into it expecting just another character action game.
Right.
I had not been looking at what it was.
That's the thing, is like, I think if people are coming in thinking like, oh man, the makers of Heavenly Sword, Devil May Cry, they're making another one of those types of games.
It's not quite
that game.
No, it is much more story focused.
Yeah.
I think back to like remember when Heavenly Sword came out and everybody was like, holy shit, look at the faces of the characters in this game. Like, oh my god, they got Andy Serkis in this game. Like, I feel like what they were doing with performance capture then that was kind of ahead of most sort of video game storytelling then, like this game is similarly like a step ahead of most games now.
A lot of really good facial emoting.
But it's even beyond that. Like I said, with like the mixed sort of other types of media in there, like with the FMV and like the voices, the way like
they get these like binaural
audio. They go into it in this
that.
featurette that's included with the game. Like they used this like binaural recording setup where they had actors like walking around it and that records like the spatial like directional stuff and like that stuff is incredibly effective.
That's cool.
Last night was the first time that I played it with headphones, and I highly recommend that. And they do as well. Like in the first like loading screen, it's like you should probably play this.
Yeah, and I'm a little disappointed
full effect.
that we recorded that quick look like very early on in the game. It's like just past where you're at. And like that part's fine, but it really goes places later on.
Good, because like I was saying, like the combat, it's very much like light attack, heavy attack, like melee attack. There's like some light combos and a dodge and a block.
Yeah, you'll figure out a little more depth to it than that, but it never really changes that much.
Yeah, it just feels like, okay, this attack's coming in, I'm either going to shove it off or dodge around and stab them, and that stuff
feels good at first. I think.
It felt good, but also not challenging. When I looked at the early part where it kind of implies that like death has real consequences, I was like, oh, that sounds serious. And then you start playing it, and you're like, this is the easiest thing I've done.
Oh, it gets way harder.
Okay,
like there are. I mean,
if you take a look at the difficulty as well. It's an adaptive difficulty, so I wonder if it gets
so it'll pick up and
But I mean, there are times when you're fighting 5 or 6 guys at once. Like like it becomes a pretty hectic management
crowd
game
control.
Of kind of dodging around and peeling guys off.
That's that. I'm flipping it to easy. Like I don't want.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to have to deal with the deaths because the combat's not like good enough for me to stay engaged. I guess it's more about the story. So
like I think
like a failure in that is just like a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, I guess so. Did you get to the part where it talks about the permadeath?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
like
cool.
that. I woke up this morning and like everybody was losing their shit over that, and I was like, wait, this is the thing everybody's getting hung up on with this game?
The way they present it is just like, hey, death has a consequence, and if you basically the implication is that if you die too much, you will lose your game.
And there's kind of an in-game indicator. I mean, the character is cursed.
Yeah.
And like you see this visible creeping up her arm, and they basically say like, hey, if the curse reaches your head, you're done.
Yeah. And I looked at that and said like, oh, that's really interesting, as long as the game is balanced well enough to where that's a threat but not too much of a problem.
I will say I didn't die a single time in combat, even though it does get pretty hairy later on. The only times I ever died were, there's a handful of sequences which are not really to the game's credit, where like if you don't run through this labyrinth fast enough and get to the other end before the like timer runs out, you die automatically.
Well, great.
I died like 4 or 5 times. Yeah, that stuff is not the best.
Yeah.
But it's worth mentioning that PC Games, I think, was the outlet.
There was a story that kind of debunked that said that even some of that stuff is not as harsh as the game makes it sound.
So this story came out and just said, hey, it's bluff. Like, that doesn't actually happen. We tried dying 50 times in a row and nothing happened.
Damn it.
But then... Okay. And then a bunch of people were like, well, now I hate that I got spoiled on the fact that this isn't actually real, because like it does absolutely ratchet up the anxiety of thinking, well, shit, if I die too many times, I have to start the game over. That's not good.
Yeah, but it sounds like it maybe is extremely generous with how those deaths are distributed across the game.
I'm sure people will pick it apart over time, but what I saw on forums this morning was like, hey, it's not as simple as dying a bunch of times in a row. Like, different areas have different tolerances for how many times you die.
From a gameplay perspective or a game design perspective, it makes sense, right? Because if 75% of the game is easy for you, but you have trouble with this one particular part and you just can't wrap your head around it, it seems bad to delete your whole save file for that one thing.
That's kind of how like the one post I found that was kind of breaking it down made it sound like, there are certain points in the game where once you cross a threshold, it'll like reset the death counter, or like you're allowed to die more times in certain areas or something like that. So. But there were people saying like, yes, it happened to me. Like I did lose my progress. So like, it sounds like that actually is a thing.
Yeah,
I'll have to play through this.
It's interesting.
I really want to check it out.
It's a really fascinating game. Again, I think some people are going to bounce off of it, but for the people that it works for, I think it's going to work on a really deep level, and I'm super happy that they made it.
Cool.
Just manage your expectations going in, I guess.
Yeah. All right. On that note, you guys want to take a quick break?
Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back. Jeff, you play anything else?
For updating the firmware on this phone.
That's right.
Wow.
It's the wildest.
I know. Very exciting.
of video games.
Yeah, it's the best video game in the world.
How long
Namco,
does it take to do that? To beat it?
well, you have to. It was a 300 meg download,
Yeah.
and then I started shortly when the break started, and now it is almost all the way done.
How many
that's a good
progress?
strat.
How many
Yeah.
progress bars have you gone through?
Yeah.
this
2.
point.
It is now. My phone is now rebooted.
This is
Oh,
the
good.
worst. This is the
Yeah.
worst idle game I have ever heard of.
yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Anyway,
Is there anything good in iOS 11?
no, it seems like the most benign update that they've put out. They redesigned some stuff, but like in terms of big changes, this feels more like a tune-up than anything big
Okay.
so far. Namco Museum came out on the Switch, and I have
Just the Switch?
yeah.
Really?
Uh,
Was it already out on other
all these
platforms,
games
or-
are out on other
Okay,
platforms.
yeah,
It's
okay.
like, hey, it's fucking Pac-Man, dumbass, and like let's get Pac-Man.
My favorite Pac-Man.
Yeah, and so it's Pac-Man, Sky Kid, Rolling Thunder, Dig Dug, and
Sky Kid.
Rolling Thunder.
Sky Kid's a Namco arcade game where you fly and you're a kid.
You mean Kid Icarus?
No,
think
you're
you're
in
gonna- is
a
there-
plane.
Are there eggplants?
Yeah.
And credit cards?
Yeah. You use the credit card to get upgrades that you don't have money for, and then it
I
teaches
think
kids a
that's-
valuable lesson.
Is the guy in Smash?
Yeah, Sky Kid's in Smash Brothers. No, it's Sky Kid. We'll take a look at it this week. It also has Pac-Man Versus in it, which is that
yeah.
GBA,
Oh wait.
not Pac-Man Battle Royale, the cool 4-player arcade
fuck.
game that is only in what is it, Pac-Man Collection or something like that came out for like
Yeah.
360 and PC.
And it was like
It's in that, and that's a really
cropped
good.
and shit. That was that was a
Actually,
huge
yeah,
bummer.
maybe that was a fucked up version.
It
of
was
the
a
game
fucked up version
compared
of
to
that
even the
game.
arcade version.
Aren't these-
Arcade version had got fucking drink holders
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
cabinet. It's great.
I
Aren't
can
these
only
Nam-
play at California Extreme.
Aren't these Namco Museum games usually arcade games?
That is an arcade. Well,
thought you said it was
Pac-Man
a
Versus is
GBA
not.
game.
Yeah,
Like, that seems like that's what I
it's
meant.
A, it's a
like
GameCube
weird-
game that
weird
used
to-
the GBA as controllers.
What?
It's the one where it was like
Oh, I
first person.
remember
That's
that.
what I'm saying. It's just like
Yeah.
weird to shoehorn like some.
They're issuing that as a bonus. So
Okay.
and as a
Okay.
bonus, it's got this.
Okay.
Yay! So they're not necessarily hanging their hat on that thing. So I've not tried that. We'll bring it in. We'll try to give that a go. But I've played some with a Pro controller, and it seems fucking broken. Just like controlling Pac-Man, it seems like you're able to kind of jitter around or you keep missing turns and like I'm pushing up and it's going right, like dumb shit like that.
You using the D-pad?
Yeah.
The Pro Controller D-pad is not great.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm not a fan of it.
That's
yeah,
your-
if you
that's
cycle
your
through
expert
menus,
fighting game guy opinion.
Yeah, totally.
Man,
I
that
mean, yeah,
sucks.
when you're hitting left and right, yeah, sometimes it'll register up
Oh,
or
dude,
down.
Nintendo always
It's
makes
not
the
a
best
great
D-pads.
D-pad.
Okay,
That sucks.
maybe it's better with the Joy-Con. Then
Yeah,
I'll give
maybe.
that a go because those are obviously like distinct buttons. But it was bafflingly broken.
Okay.
Just like a single game of Pac-Man, I was like, wait, it's not moving it's not making these turns the way I want to make them. Like I'm able to kind of like stop at a corner and face a weird way, which I don't even think you can do in the arcade version.
Oh, really?
Like I wanted to
Yeah.
go check. But yeah, it's a collection of these arcade games and like pretty no frills. There's like a challenge mode that's like, hey, 3 minutes to eat as many ghosts as you can.
Unlockables for like museum stuff or anything like that?
There's something, I
Okay.
haven't dug into that stuff. I have not dug into that
Oh.
stuff that much. And that's all I got. This
Okay.
is my dig dug joke.
Yeah,
Hey.
we'll check it out.
I dug it.
Yeah? Was it on Figar? Anyway, it seems like a very questionable collection, but at the same time, there was something about the idea of like these games on a Switch.
Yep.
What if I brought my Switch somewhere? That might be a fun thing to have.
I'm not very pumped about that idea.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
It rocks.
Guys.
Ben and I played some of the new Metroid for 3DS.
Yeah. That's out pretty soon, right? That's
next month.
yeah.
Was it?
September, they
September,
said.
yeah,
like
it is September.
20
September or something like that.
2017?
September 2017,
Oh.
which means it comes out on either the 20th or the 17th.
They brought that by The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I really like
my number one takeaway is that their 3DS capture kit is way cooler than ours.
Oh, really?
It's
It's
HDMI
way
out,
cool.
pumps that sound, and it has an overlay on it.
Yeah,
as
like
well.
when you
Oh, right. Yeah.
yeah, put it to
fucking
TV.
default-
Yeah, it has a built-in
default
like,
overlay.
nice,
Yeah.
nice looking
Yeah.
photoshopped overlay.
So I had set it up beforehand how we always do. We've got like an overlay for the 3DS stuff because the out is just like
black
clean
screen.
image. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I cropped it and set it up. I'm like, okay, let's plug this in. And I saw like double fucking things. And I'm like, what the hell is going on on that computer and back? No, it's, they're not putting
Also, it's like
it's neat.
the box looks similar to ours. It's like this really sort of rough, like angular industrial piece of hardware, except it's like bright orange.
Oh, great.
And then in a metal cage.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So
Because if you take the game out, then bad things will happen.
So it just looks
cage
like
it up.
It looks like something that they're like transporting depleted uranium in or something like that.
That's Nintendo.
It was really awesome.
The
anyway,
Wii that we
game's
had
cool
at the
too.
Game Informer office was actually connected to the internet all the time.
GameSpot has one of those.
We've heard about those.
And when it gets disconnected from the internet, you get a phone call.
Yep.
Like immediately.
Like, hey, what the fuck's going on over there?
Right.
Are you stealing our games?
No.
My
Maybe.
immediate takeaway was if you get handed a game that you've never played and say, we've got 10 minutes to show this game off, go, you're going to play like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so
note that I was happy to let you take that.
So what? It's like a spiritual. It's like it's a remake.
It's a remake of 2.
The
Game
Game
Boy
Boy,
game.
But with some
like,
added
bunch of
that melee kind of stuff.
So you have a melee counter on
it's actually,
X or Y.
So it's actually just a melee attack. You can use it whenever you want, but,
Yes.
but a bunch of enemies will like dive bomb you. Like the enemies are all designed basically, well, not all, but a lot of the enemies are designed around this melee counter. So
where if you hit them with it, it will kind of knock them back into a prone state in which you can then just blast them.
And you get extra. They drop extra items when you put them in that state and kill them.
It's
got
analog aiming.
Yeah,
So you hold one. I think you hold one of the
L
shoulder
or R,
ones.
yeah.
And then you can 360 aim.
Okay.
And she's got a really good animation on. Like this game looks it's really well taken care of. Like this is they put a lot of resources into it, from like the little animations to
polished.
Just, like, it's incredibly polished.
So hang on a sec. 360 aiming with a toggle.
Yeah.
Can you just use the right stick? The fabled 3DS right stick.
Oh, I didn't even try that. I don't know. I didn't even think about that. I doubt it. I'm going to say no.
God damn it.
Also, the downside of having that aiming at your disposal means you have to use the circle pad to control Samus, which kind of sucks.
I was doing that.
I did not enjoy. Like I kept trying to duck, and like it was reading as more of a down right, so it was just aiming down instead of ducking, and like I kept missing stuff like that. Like I couldn't consistently go into the morph ball. I'm sure you get used to it after a while.
Well, I wonder if it just has like an aim thing that's you can use the D-pad, but it's maybe a little less.
I'm pretty sure I tried D-pad and it just doesn't do anything.
Okay.
So
like you can't even move with it. You have to. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I mean.
Maybe it's like a
it's
weapon select or something on the D-pad.
They map. Yeah, they map abilities to it. Actually,
Yeah.
I mean, trade off. People get used to it, but
like, how do you think it looked? Like, did it seem good? Because
I think it seems solid.
Like at E3, it was like this exciting, weird buried announcement, and then the like 2 layers deeper buried than that was that Mercury Steam was developing it.
Yeah,
and I think that led to a lot of people going like, "Oh,
it certainly seems better than what I saw of that 3DS Castlevania game they did.
Yeah.
Yes,
it seems.
Yeah, that was not a good.
I mean, come on, it's Nintendo. Like they're never going to let a subpar game out the door, right?
ARMS like just came out.
What was that last Metroid that just came out? Federation Force or something?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, they've not done right by Metroid for.
It's like eating my words in record time. Yeah, I totally.
Depending on who you ask.
Forgot about Federation Force.
Some pundits might say that they haven't done right by Metroid since Super Metroid.
So here's the thing, though. It's Metroid 2 is already a game.
Yeah.
So they have at least that skeleton to work off of
right,
and refine. And from what I played, like, I didn't play Metroid 2. I didn't play that fan remake of it. But this, I played for
AM2R.
10 minutes and I was like, I'm sold. I
came away from it wanting to play that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the guy who, speaking of that AM2R thing, the developer of that is now working on the new Ori.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, sure. Yeah. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Man, what a way to parlay that into
no kidding, right?
a job.
Yeah.
You know what else?
If Nintendo wasn't going to bite on that, I'm glad somebody else did.
exactly.
Well, they bid on it just in a different way, I guess, huh?
They bit off of it.
Yeah.
You know what else we did while they were here? We squished that amiibo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they had the new amiibos.
Oh,
Yeah,
They had that squishy Metroid amiibo.
Squishy Metroid amiibo.
So I was expecting it to be like a stress ball or something that's
like a foam rubber kind of thing. Yeah,
but
it's not.
It's more of like a beach ball kind of squishy,
it's
where
like a
it's
clear
it's
plastic.
Inflated?
Not no.
But it's a clear plastic, with like nothing inside of it.
Yeah.
Clear soft plastic.
All right.
Yeah. So it's not squishy in the sense that I was like.
I would want it to be squishy like a dog toy.
Yeah,
or
where
something, like a dog.
as you
bone.
squish it in, you
And
see
actually
where you pushed it
squeaks.
in like unsquish.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're quite there on squishy amiibo tech.
So they made a little Metroid that you could squeeze in and made that little chirping sound. Oh my god!
That would be pretty.
That was absolutely the first amiibo I've ever wanted to pay money for. Like,
Oh,
it's,
man.
it's
Yeah,
actually,
it was good.
It's
It
actually
was
pretty
good.
cool.
It's
And-
not quite there though.
Did they say that if it did anything in the game?
Yeah, you can get
All 4 Metroid amiibos. The 2 from, as they were saying, 2 from Smash.
Yeah, the
one
2
from
existing Smash
this
ones, and
game,
they're putting out
one
2
from
more.
another. Yeah, that's right.
But what was she
Uh,
saying about something where you don't want to do it until like endgame or something like that?
Well, so
Explain that.
three of those give you like one of them gives you an extra energy tank, one of them gives you an extra
Missile
like
tank
missile
or something.
add-on or whatever.
Okay.
Isn't it that the squishy Metroid? Oh, I wish I had written this down.
It was.
Is that what
pretty
enables
confusing.
the fusion mode?
Oh, I don't
So
know.
there's
I should have made it.
There's a normal hard mode that you get for beating the game, but then there is fusion mode, which is tied to one of the amiibo. I don't know if it's a squishy.
Oh, I
it
did
is,
see
yeah.
some people talking about this as like
It's like the
basically
super-
tying
super
right back
hard.
into our paid DLC fucking thing of like
But this is paid physical
yeah,
objects
yeah.
that tie to your games. And so from what I understand, fusion mode is a more difficult version of the game, but not just by like ramping up enemy damage and stuff. There's like actual changes to the game and gameplay.
I think that's right. Also, you're wearing the fusion suit.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay, yeah, sure.
Anyway, that game seems promising.
Cool. That's
I'm-
good to
I'm-
hear.
I'm
That's,
optimistic about that.
It's too bad it's not on the Switch, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually said, "Hey, when's this coming to the Switch?" And they were like, "We're making a Metroid game for the Switch.
I was like,
It's called Metroid Prime."
no. When's this one though? Yeah.
No.
That's very complicated. The whole their whole them still supporting the 3DS. I still feel like that's bad for Switch owners.
they had
they
to-
just came out with a new one,
yeah.
so they got to do a little more.
Also, they
Right.
had to hedge their bets, right? What if nobody bought a Switch?
Totally, yeah.
They had to have software ready to go for the thing that everybody owns.
Makes sense.
3DS is done after this,
You think?
though.
You think
Probably.
this is the last?
Or let's say it's tapering off.
It's on its
I mean,
hind
they still
legs.
have some stuff that has not been announced for U.S. release. I feel like that
Yeah.
has come to Japan or is
Yeah.
coming, right?
Yeah.
So there's that stuff.
Well, not done.
I'm
obviously.
curious.
Games will
I'm
keep
curious
coming
to
out,
see. Well, I guess also like this is an external developer, so whatever when it comes to Nintendo's own resources, I suppose. But I do wonder if we'll see any more like big original development from Nintendo's own studios on the 3DS, or if they are fully devoted to the Switch.
Didn't they say?
I feel like I've been hearing that they are fully devoted to the Switch for
I mean,
a year plus.
the next real Pokemon game is coming out on
that's,
Switch.
That's what I was about to ask.
Which is like that's a
yeah.
key.
That's
that's
the and that's the thing that moves people over, I guess.
Yeah,
at that point,
That is
So
that's the true indicator.
we'll see.
Does Nintendo develop that?
uh,
Pokemon
ga-
stuff?
Game
Or
Freak.
Game
Freak.
Freak. Game Freak does the
Kinda,
development,
yeah.
but
Right.
Nintendo, I'm sure, calls the shots about what happens where.
All right.
Did you play anything else, Ben?
A lot
you
of
want to
a little
discuss?
bit. I played the new. I had to take a screenshot of this game. I went over to my friend's house, who got his Japanese PS account online, so we could download and play Under Night In Birth
Oh, nice.
EXE late bracket. So okay, Under Night, 2 words. In Birth hyphenated.
Yep.
EXE : late, all one word, brackets lowercase st close brackets.
Lower. Yeah.
It's a new fighting game
Yeah.
from the
What is
Melty
that?
Blood people.
Oh,
Uniel.
Uniel.
Yeah.
Uniel. So yeah, this is like a super Uniel. This is like the
Yeah,
the
I was
new
wondering if to
version
hop
of it.
into this one, and then it seems different enough from the old one, which I did like.
Yeah.
I never had the opportunity to play it.
So it's a 2D fighting game made from a new studio, or not a newish studio. That's a bunch of old fighting game people, and it's super fun. It's one of those games where like it kind of reminded me of Asuka 120%,
yeah.
where everything kind of flows into everything else.
Cool.
And like it seems like it's an incredibly anime game that might put a ton of people off, but is also secretly incredibly accessible. Like there's a character who's just Ryu. He has a DP, a Tatsu, and a Fireball, which you don't see in anime games a lot. You don't really see like a Ryu equivalent. It's a game where like half the characters have giant hitboxes that are like the size of the screen.
Oh, weird.
It was a blast. Played a little bit of that. Played a little bit of Splatoon.
Yeah, I've been playing more of that too.
Yeah, helped carry Team Mayo to a decisive victory over Team Ketchup.
You guys are intent.
Oh, is this on news too?
You guys are intent on destroying the news section. Hang on.
So I mean, basically, just suck at Ketchup. You guys drool.
No,
rules.
the many good and noble people of Team Ketchup actually exposed a problem with the game and a real serious issue with the way that they are going to handle Splatfest. And I think that there's a real problem here.
My understanding is that there's been potentially some voter suppression or interference that has taken place in the Splatfest.
Throughout the Splatfest, I saw Team Mayo once, and it was all Ketchup versus Ketchup because everyone picked Ketchup.
Right.
I think what we're trying to say is Splatoon 2 democracy is a sham.
I've seen a lot of like pro Mayo ads on my
valid.
Facebook feed.
These are not valid elections.
And like, there was some fake news stuff about Ketchup on Facebook. And
I guess all I have to say to Team Ketchup is get better at Splatoon, and maybe next time you guys will win the Splatfest.
Don't get me wrong, you are on the moral and right and good side of this division, but
I know
a lot of people seem to think that Ketchup was far more represented. Actually, I think the stats.
I was
surprised.
75% to 25%.
The stats are there showing.
Yeah,
right,
when they showed how they're counting, like who wins the Splatfest, I was somewhat shocked.
Me too.
That would be how they would build it because it's 3 stats.
Yes,
it's just raw vote who chose what, and that one was the one that Ketchup won in a landslide. And the other 2 were
singles matches and team matches.
Yeah, singles matches and team matches, which the Mayo won.
Barely won both.
And so it's a case where anyone who picked Mayo would have no problem finding a Ketchup team to play against so that stuff would count.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were on Team Ketchup, it would look for Mayo for a while, I presume.
Are you?
And then give up and go, here's 4 Ketchup
Do you
players.
know if it doesn't count?
That's the thing. Are you just taking it as granted that Ketchup on Ketchup matches don't count?
I am. So I guess I don't know that for sure.
That seems like
that would run up the tally.
Yeah.
If most of the matches were Ketchup on Ketchup, then those other 2 numbers would be out of control too.
Well, I mean, if they only take like the winner side, right, and they count it as just a Ketchup win. This is a Ketchup win with these stats. Then maybe it counts it in the same way. Like if they won over Mayo, like it doesn't matter what the loser side is. It's just like Ketchup wins.
But if it did, then all those Ketchup on Ketchup matches are a guaranteed Ketchup point.
Right.
So just the raw numbers of Ketchup players.
Well, maybe
would
Mayo's
have probably
just that much
led
more
to.
skilled.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that maybe like adults
just like real life
chose mayonnaise, and that maybe they're better at the game than but yeah, in face-off situations, the Mayo team won more frequently. So whatever, that counts for something, I suppose. But it just seems like a really dumb way to tabulate this stuff. Then it adds those up, and so because Mayo won 2 and Ketchup won 1, it's a 2-1 victory for mayonnaise, and you're just like that.
Perhaps
like whatever. I don't care about the actual debate. That's who gives a shit.
Perhaps fans of mayonnaise are just elegant and refined and highly skilled at Splatoon. I don't.
Certainly possible.
I feel like even choosing Mayo and Ketchup as the combatants is like very Japan.
Yes,
because Mayo's a lot bigger over there, right?
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Mayo with fries.
To me, it would be ketchup and mustard should be the like fire and ice. Yin and yang of this
Cat
thing,
and dog,
right?
Yeah.
They just wanted people shooting white stuff all over the place.
Yeah, white. I'm glad the Splatfest
sickos.
is over because the white and red was really kind of messing with me, especially because I was on Team Mayo and had to run around the white goo more often.
Right.
It's hot stuff.
Great.
I just want them to come together, man. Like make
Same
some
time.
fry sauce.
Yeah.
You ever mix Mayo and ketchup together?
No, I'm not a monster.
It's usually Mayo and hot sauce, but
really, yeah. Now we're talking.
Yeah. And
what's your go-to hot sauce?
I like El Pato. It's got a duck on it.
Okay.
Last thing I played, and I need to just get this off my chest, is Prey. I'm extremely bad at the video game Prey. I am.
Okay.
It's made me feel like a really bad gamer. It's made me feel like I'm terrible at video games. It's broken me down so many. I've died more frequently in this game than like any other single player game ever.
Just go with that. Embrace that feeling.
Can't wrap my head around.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Like the game
It's
is like shockingly. I mean, granted,
so hard for me.
when it came out, it had input problems, which were making it, those were exacerbating the problems. But like the enemies are super.
Yeah, so it's very much
the aiming.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Skittery.
Yes. They skitter around a lot. It's hard to, especially on a controller,
and so like
to line up the melee and stuff.
So it's very much a game about like, okay, you got a little bit of guns, a little bit of, repair skills or whatever. Straight, like there's all these different things you can do. And I feel like I've put my points way too spread out. I feel like I needed to really just focus on one area and be really good at that area. But then the problem is like if it focused on guns, then I'm just out of ammo, and you can't like go buy ammo at the store or anything. It's it's what you find or what you can make. And then so this is not a story spoiler, but a very minor mechanical spoiler for like a couple hours in. You find this helmet that you can put on, and it sort of acts like a scanner. So you can scan enemies, and if you scan enough enemies, you start to unlock like alien powers. Like basically all the shit that the aliens can do, you can eventually start to learn how to do. So now you have to factor in like your psi meter, your bullet, and I'm just completely over. I died in the same room 14 times, and there's one enemy in that room.
Wait a minute.
Granted,
Hang on. Was it in a basement?
no.
Okay, because I also died about a dozen times in a room with one enemy in that game.
You just need to min-max that shit BioShock style and just go with fucking wrench and fucking the first power and just put everything into that.
I want to play it my way.
It says play your way. There's a big slide that says play your way.
Yeah, they really hit you over the head with like, you can do whatever you want.
Granted, it was the first time I saw that enemy, but it was a really good lesson because I scanned it, I figured out its weakness, I figured out its movement pattern, I figured out how to like hide myself, and then I glued it, and then I hit it with the Q beam, and that eventually killed it, and I'm like, great. And so now 3 hours later, I'm in a room with 3 of those guys.
Nice.
Well,
And I haven't tried bumping it down to easy, but I'm almost there because I'm like, this is the first time in my life I've played a game and been like turned off by how hard it is for me. And I don't necessarily fault the game to an extent because it presented me with all these opportunities and said, hey, take your pick. And I just happened to like spread myself a little thin.
Picked all of them.
I picked all of them because I wanted to see a little bit of what everything could do.
That's kind of how I usually go.
But I feel like I'm being punished in a way for it.
that's a tricky balance.
Yeah, that sucks.
I think like some games got better at that. Like the jack of all trades skill path for a lot of these games, I feel like classically used to be terrible.
Yeah.
And
And
sharpened up over the years to where people realize like, oh, people only want to play a game once, so they want to see all the content.
Yep.
So they want to be able to repair terminals. They want to be able to hack things. They want to be able to do this. And
yeah, Prey is not shy about showing you all the things you're going to miss out on if you don't put points in all over the place. It's like, here's all these cool things you could be repairing or hacking or unlocking or researching.
And you like find the points.
Yeah.
You don't earn them by leveling up or something.
So they're not unlimited, right?
Yeah, you can. You can just totally go without being able to upgrade anything for hours at a time.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna have to turn down to easy, go back, finish some side quests, like just find some loot, and try and hit it again. But,
I should point out, this is like a sad commentary on the state of video games that I'm praising them for this. They finally fixed it fully on the PS4.
Okay.
As of like late last week.
Well, great.
oh, great! I haven't gone back since.
Well,
that
so
last patch.
you're
I
fine on
played
a regular. You're on a PS4, regular PS4, right?
You said it was a PS4.
So
Pro
they
thing?
fixed all the input problems from that version in the last patch, and then but they introduced a bunch of problems on the Pro with like stuttering and that stuff, and they finally fixed all that stuff last week.
Okay.
So like here we are 3 months after release.
Jeez.
And it's finally all clean. But I was starting to worry they would never fix it. So
Yeah. Meanwhile, I got another survey about asking me questions about Mass Effect Andromeda.
Nice.
Like, hey, what do you think about the multiplayer stuff? I'm like,
Nice.
I'm not playing it. It's a bit.
Yeah.
Some community manager, speaking of that sort of thing, some community manager for Capcom put out a huge Reddit post on the Street Fighter V subreddit saying like, I guess there's been a huge uptick recently in the like online hatred spewing communities against Street Fighter. And it was this huge thing. I'm like, look, we're trying to fix everything. Please tell us what the worst things are. Please stop yelling at us. Like,
A bunch of your characters are dumb. You should take them out, I guess.
I
don't know what
I played Abigail, and I think he's pretty cool.
He looks fun. Yeah.
He looks. He's got some really interesting. He's a new style of that big guy.
Yeah.
He's not like Hugo. He's more on like weird counter pokes and just like giant hitboxes, and I don't know. I like him. He's weird, and I didn't think
he's definitely weird. I don't think I would play as that character again, but interesting.
Yeah.
Mass Effect is a weird one. Like,
yeah, right.
Just over time, like I'm trying to remember. So anybody can play 10 hours of it free now. They rolled that out.
Yeah, it's a demo.
Yeah, like so that anybody can just like play a 10-hour
Is it
trial.
timed? Or is
Probably.
it like to a point?
That's how the what's their vault thing?
Yeah, the
EA
Access stuff
That's how
is
it
like-
works with Access. You could just play for a 10-hour timer and then buy it if you wanted to. So anybody can do that now. Also, they're giving it away if you use the GeForce experience.
Not to everyone though.
No,
It's
it's not
part of a giveaway.
It's not literally log into GeForce Experience
Yeah.
and get the game, but it like enters you into a drawing for it.
Yeah,
It's just like they're trying to move that game every way they can.
Nvidia's done other giveaways through that thing
Yeah.
before, so that's I don't know that I would necessarily hang it for that.
Sure, it's just a lot all at once between
Yeah.
the surveys and the 10-hour trial and the GeForce stuff. And
The surveys are interesting because it's just like this one. They've sent out 2 so far. The first one was like very much like, "What did you think of this planet?" And you're just like, I don't remember what any of this stuff's
That's
called.
super
Like,
weird.
What do you, or where did you get? What do you think about these companions? It was
Yeah.
like a very in depth on the single player stuff, and this one was very much like, what do you think about the loot boxes that we added? What do you think about this? What do you think about this map? What do you think about this multiplayer mode? And you're just like,
You're like Mass Effect had multiplayer?
I'm not playing that at all.
I have continued to keep up with some forum discussion of that game in various places because on some level I still can't believe that game happened.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story.
And like I see people like who to this day still play Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, like talk about it that reverently that they still jump in there from time to time saying like, yeah, I'm not playing the Andromeda multiplayer anymore. Like it had no legs.
That's interesting. I would like to know. I guess actually I don't know that I care that much, but I was gonna say I'd be interested to know what made the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer better, because I look at it as like they seem pretty similar to me.
So I
didn't much care for the 3 multiplayer.
I think
either. So
what I gather is a lot of it is that they kept adding to the 3 multiplayer over time. They kept putting out all those free add-on packs with new character classes and maps and stuff like that. So like it became very broad and diverse, I think, is my impression.
I think they've added stuff to the Andromeda stuff.
Yeah,
since, but maybe not enough. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
anyway,
anyway, like it's
sure.
It is water under the bridge, but anyway. Jason, did you play anything besides Hellblade?
Yeah, Hellblade. Playing some Slime Rancher.
Oh yeah, that came out for real.
Yeah, that is out for realsies.
Played a little more too.
Good. Griffin is totally into it. Like, booted up a fresh new save, went and like grabbed like 20 slimes, put them in a pen, and that kid laughed hysterically.
Right.
So I could just do that over and over and over.
Okay.
But
do it again with the cat slimes now.
yeah, did you get your boop achievement?
No.
You gotta let them jump on your face and they boop you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Pretty,
I've been playing on
pretty
PC. I
adorable.
don't really. Yeah.
Pretty cute.
Did it change much from like we covered it in early access? a long
Yeah,
time ago?
the main mechanics
They
are
just
still pretty
kinda-
much the same,
yeah.
but I think at that time that we played it, there weren't like additional areas. The world was still kind of small.
Yeah.
Is there
But now there's
story?
like expansions for your ranch and stuff.
Or is it
no,
just a pure
it's
kind of
like-
It's
management
pretty much
sim?
like, hey, you got sent to this planet
Yeah.
to manage farm some slimes.
You'll get emails every now and again. That's about it. They didn't have that when we played early
There was
access.
a little bit. There was hints of the email
really?
stuff, but it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Now they like show your character model and like the loading or the intro screen, but it's super satisfying and fun. It's not nearly as deep as some other sims out there, or ranching or farming type games, but
You're not putting CDs in this thing to generate monsters to ranch.
that would be great.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty straightforward, but it's very relaxing and very cute.
It's charming.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
incredibly relaxing.
Nice.
Aside from that, a little bit of Phantom Trigger that's coming out in a couple days. So that's kind of like a hardcore 2D, shades of Hyper Light Drifter.
Oh,
like
does it look similar?
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
I saw people
some
saying,
of the
like, hey, this
aesthetics
looks a
are-
lot like that.
Yeah, a little bit like that, and some fucking fantastic animations. Like so you've got like a melee attack and a regular projectile and stuff. But that melee attack, that whip, is animated so well. It super stands out to me. I don't know what it is, but that's used to like bring enemies into you and stuff. And they've got a really good dodge animation. It plays really well. They've got some like duality going on with like colors and stuff. Like certain enemies or certain items are only susceptible to like your whip or something like that. So and it's got multiplayer as well.
Side scroller?
Yeah, no, top down.
Top down.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it seems really cool. I'm gonna put some more time into it. Well, that's about it.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Nice.
Everything else I talked about last week. So.
All right. Well, what about some news?
Yeah.
Anybody?
about some news?
Hey, let's talk about it. Even though we devoured most of it already.
Yeah.
I think we went through 3 or 4
I
of
am
the news
the
stories I
news
had.
muncher.
Gee, thanks, man.
News blaster.
Whatever. We saved the most important story for the actual news section, which is that Spelunky creator Derek Yu is making a new
Yeah.
game. Finally,
This thing looks cool as hell.
and it looks really cool. But also, like, man,
but with a bunch of other creators,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the maker of Downwell,
but it's just been so long. Like,
It's
dude,
the
Spelunky.
50 game jam or something like
UFO
that?
50.
Yeah,
There we go.
UFO 50 is the name of it.
Oh, is that Derek? Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
Derek Yu,
Okay.
yeah.
Like Mossmouth is publishing it, and it's Derek Yu like making some of the games. So
in collaboration.
Yeah.
I
with,
saw that the Downwell person was involved, but I didn't know that was
Hang
the extent of what.
hang on, I can tell you right now
Yeah.
from the creators of Spelunky, Downwell, Time Barons, Scorpulac, and Madhouse.
Borgulac.
I don't even know what that is. I've got the trailer on here, and it says all that right at the top. Yeah,
Yeah.
like all these other indie developers are collaborating.
that
with
thing
them.
looks nice. It's 50.
It's 50 games in one.
Yeah, it's like they're making like a multi-cart basically.
Yeah, basically.
Of like
But with good games.
yeah, like well,
they look
maybe,
fucking
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, some of them look really rad.
And they're sticking to like the 8-bit kind of aesthetic, right?
They've made some decisions around color palette and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Oh,
to
are they
try
all
to
consistent with
create
each other?
limitations.
Like, could they all run on the same piece of fictional hardware?
That's the idea,
Okay.
and I guess the conceit is that these will have all come from a fictional company,
Okay,
the same
okay.
fictional company
They
and
look
stuff.
They look better than NES, but like
Yeah.
kind of in the vein of NES.
And the sound quality, the music and stuff like that seems a little bit better than that. But like
Yeah.
that's kind of what they're going for
Yeah.
is that basic somewhere between the NES
To
and
give you the feeling
the
of
PC
playing
engine.
these games, not necessarily
Yeah, like
exactly
it's
playing. these
way higher resolution, but like the color palette's kind of the same.
And a lot of different genres and styles and stuff like that. You
I
know,
saw
there-
Dodgeball.
I saw a
in
game that
there.
looks a
Yeah.
lot like Renegade,
Yeah.
like a top-down driving
Wait, this is tower defense.
GTA looking thing.
8-bit tower defense.
Yeah, so it's like 50 different games. You know, maybe some of them will be terrible.
I think
in
they-
fact, the odds are some of these 50 games will be terrible. But
Didn't they? Maybe I misunderstood. They implied that each one is like length of a regular game
the
of that
idea
era.
is that they're longer.
They're-
They're
they're-
not mini games.
Yeah, they're not like 10-minute.
but they're not
experiences.
necessarily as long as games
Okay.
of the era.
Okay.
So somewhere in between.
With Derek Yu involved, do you think there's going to be some crazy secrets in
There's
there?
got to be.
I hope that there's a
some-
51st game,
Mm.
right? That,
I hope
like,
that there's 100 games.
Oh yeah, sure. I hope that if you do something in all 50 of the games, you unlock a mythical
Like there's an
51st
eggplant
game.
in every game,
Yeah.
and you have to grab it. And
That would be cool.
I hope there's some kind of weird metagame layer tying everything together. I don't know what that would be.
I don't know that there is or
But
not.
like,
but
I
yeah,
hope it's not as simple as just like here's a menu, play the games. Like, there's got to be more to it than that.
Hopefully, but that's out next year.
Yeah.
Coming to PC, and
Yeah.
I think they're gonna do console, but they haven't necessarily said.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be happy even if it was just those games. It looks great.
Yeah. It looks that stuff looks really neat.
I
so.
just like every few months I would stop and think, man, when's that guy going to make another game?
Yeah,
And
right.
finally, here it is.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool stuff. God, talked about Battlegrounds chests. We talked about Splatfest. We talked about the Shadow of War stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At Games has issued a statement about the crappy Genesis Flashback thing that Peter Brown brought to the show last week.
So just to reiterate, I saw that thing. It was terrible.
Yeah.
That thing was
Yeah.
real bad. It was like running at auto frame skip and like
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog with a ton of dropped frames and bad music
Garbled-
and like
garbled
a
sound.
really
Bad
really
categorization, like bad
Yeah.
UI.
yeah, like profoundly
But and it's even worse than that because like Peter brought the packaging in here and like it's pretty misleading.
Yeah.
when it says like, because all it says is like 85 games and it does not tell you that half of those are not even Genesis games.
Yeah, there's a bunch of master,
Yeah.
but that's fine. But like some of them are just
Well,
like pirate cart quality.
His argument was that the way the packaging is labeled, it makes it look like it's 85 Genesis games,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
very much not.
It-
Like there's just problems all around that thing.
Yes,
And now they have come out and said, hey, those review units we sent out had the wrong firmware on it. We're going to send new units.
No.
All right. I mean, it's not out till September,
Yeah,
so like
that could be true.
Hey, we'll see. But man, that thing was like amazingly disappointing.
Yeah.
Like he let me hang on to it for a little bit a couple weeks ago, or not long after he got it in. I hooked it up for half an hour or something. Was just like, oh, let's check this out, and just like immediately, like just the Genesis games ran incredibly poorly.
Yep.
And then seeing like, okay, Master System games, Game Gear games. I'm like, okay, those are still proper games. Like that's cool to see some of that stuff. Maybe they should have labeled it better, whatever. But then to see a lot of those games are just like tech toy, weird Brazilian pirate cart garbage. Like there's just some really rotten stuff on that list.
Yep.
That seems like it's there to pad out the count. That's disappointing.
Yep.
It has a cart slot on it, so maybe if they make this thing run Genesis games well, then
if it works as advertised,
sure. But man, it was real terrible.
Yeah.
When I saw it, so hopefully this magical firmware will suddenly make it run everything perfectly. Right?
There's a lot of stuff to fix.
I'd be curious to see what emulation they're using under the hood. If this is like, because I don't think, is this like retro arch underneath the hood?
Yeah.
Are they licensing it? Are they doing it legit? Like I'm always curious about that aspect.
He had taken the thing apart when he came in here. Like he opened it up. We looked at the PCB. Was the CPU in that thing is a Monkey King, I believe.
Oh,
wasn't it? Wasn't that how the chip was labeled?
I was in there.
Oh, that's right. You weren't here. Yeah, me and Jason.
Hi.
Monkey King.
We bore witness to the Monkey King.
I think it was a Monkey King.
I think that's what he said.
I think there was some talk about Monkey King.
It was a weird chip.
I remember wanting to make a
sure, man. Fucking, I don't know.
joke.
That's,
But,
yeah. Anyway, that thing is weird and ramshackle, and hopefully they fix it, or they won't. And then in that case, don't buy it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's all we can say.
Yeah.
But they're saying it'll be better when it comes out.
Better is not enough. Like it needs to like there's no these games should run perfectly, like kind of end of story on that stuff. Like there's no excuse for that. Like they're shipping a thing that looks like a Genesis, like do the fucking work. Or put out a thing that's powerful enough to run that stuff right. Hopefully it's a firmware fix and they get there, but God.
Did you guys keep up with the saga of Unsung story and its Kickstarter?
No.
Nope.
And the gigantic disaster that has ensued?
No idea what any of this is.
Unsung Story is the Final Fantasy Tactics spiritual successor from Yasumi Matsuno, who made Final Fantasy Tactics, which is arguably one of the most revered games of all time.
Okay, yeah.
They kickstarted it in 2014. They raised $660,000.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. He was making it in collaboration with a board game company called Playdeck.
Okay.
I haven't read
Is
deeply.
it DEK?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you heard of them?
Maybe.
I didn't. I didn't read enough into their history to know if they had made games prior to that or not. But they were referenced as a board game maker. Anyway, it's been a long, sordid saga.
It's been a long road.
Yes, of like misleading updates and no updates and just like a bunch of crap.
When were they supposed to
For
originally?
3 years.
Okay. When was the game originally supposed to come out?
2014.
Yeah. Okay.
And then 2015.
Okay. That was a while ago.
And then maybe they said 2016 at some point.
I remember 2016 like it was yesterday.
Anyway, last week they posted an update finally that the money is gone and they're not making the game anymore.
Okay. Well, closing the loop. Congratulations to all involved.
It's really cool that you can just do that.
Yeah.
On Kickstarter.
Yeah.
We don't have. You remember how you gave us $660,000?
We made we're going to make a sex machine that also plays video games.
Go on.
And if you push a button on the side, cheeseburgers pop out. You should give us money.
All right. I have $20.
Fantastic.
You can have one when we finish it.
Great.
Awesome.
When do you expect to?
Next month.
Oh.
Okay, hang on. We're cashing your check. Okay, we're clearing the PayPal. All right.
Okay, so when's it supposed to come out?
It's not. Sorry. We tried really hard.
But how am I supposed to get a cheeseburger?
You're going to have to get it the old-fashioned way.
Robin McDonald's.
Robin McDonald's. The popular character, Robin McDonald's.
Is that bird lady with the goggles on her head?
Yeah.
What? Are they getting sued or something?
So there's
what the fuck?
there's a little more to it.
Kickstarter's not a pre-order. So
Yes,
it's like...
yes. The A, that. B, there's a little more to it. So they have handed over development to a company called Little Orbit, which has previously made games involving such licenses as Barbie
Okay.
and Adventure Time.
All right.
But those guys posted a thing saying, hey, we're starting from scratch.
Oh.
We're not taking their work and continuing it. We are starting this game over. Also, they did not give us any of the money they raised through the Kickstarter, so we also don't have your money.
Wait, so what are they doing then?
No idea.
Because, like, why would they...
Fleeing the country.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, the original people, yes, obviously, like, you know, they're out, they're lying low, but, like, what's in it for this other studio?
I don't think that's
name.
clear.
If they're not taking
because if they're not taking any of the work, like, they're getting the name, which is
already
tarnished,
toxic,
and then also, like, they're giving free copies to the people that kickstarted it.
Yes.
And maybe like the email list of the people.
Right.
This
what
statement from them does seem to be addressing the Kickstarter backers directly.
So like what?
Maybe they owed them money, and so they bought the right to.
But like, you know, to have another studio that is not taking any of the work and is like seemingly unaffiliated.
They are taking Matsuno's design work. Like they're starting with his original concepts again, but they're not taking any development work that Playdeck had done apparently.
Got it. Okay.
So like it will presumably like still fulfill the original vision of the game, just not with any of the actual legwork that had been done.
But then they'll end up having to give out X number of copies to these backers.
Sounds like the case.
And so they're kind of in the hole out of the gate because they didn't get any of that money because it's all fucking squandered.
And that's going to, come out in 2019?
I'm trying to
find... Maybe they're reining in the scope in a way that makes it easier to ship.
The statement from the new developer says, we want to respond to those of you that have reached out asking for refunds. I can't know the sheer amount of frustration you have endured. We are here to help, but we aren't in a position to do that right now. Please know that we are starting from scratch without the money you actually invested, so all of our funding needs to go into the game and delivering this Kickstarter. If we start giving refunds right now, it will simply hurt everyone who backed the project and limit our ability to finish. So, no idea what the business stuff is behind the scenes that brought this arrangement about.
Yeah, sounds like a bad deal, man.
But like that guy is a big name, and like, you know, the new game from the Final Fantasy Tactics guy.
Yeah,
in that style is like kind of a big deal, and it's just been like a 3-year shit show.
Should have been money. Should have been money.
Oh, I mean, if you fuck up a Kickstarter, like, where do you go from there?
Like
strip club,
the house you built with the Kickstarter money. I don't know.
I guess that's like you retire.
No, or you know, maybe you have a job somewhere else doing something. You know, it's not.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, assuming they were attempting to develop that game in good faith, that money's gone. Yeah. Like $600,000 is nothing for 3 years of game development.
Yeah, that's not
like that money is paid out.
Might as well be zero.
This does not sound like a case of took the money and ran so much as just like
mismanaged expectations or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds like the
weird,
case.
That's a weird set of circumstances.
But it's a pretty high profile, you know, it's not quite like Bloodstained or Shenmue 3, but like that's a relatively high profile name.
Yeah,
to have on a Kickstarter.
It's like a high profile, like early example of Kickstarter, I guess, if it's 3 years.
Yeah.
Or 4 years. Yeah, whatever it is.
Yep. So that's a mess. The only other thing...
We need a stamp for the end of... Boom! That's a mess.
Yep. Tempest 4000.
Boom! That's a mess.
I hope not.
No.
Jeff, you said the words Tempest 4000.
Tempest 4000 got announced this morning.
Okay. It's Jeff Minter.
Jeff Minter is making a new Tempest with
VR?
Atari.
Of course he is.
They did not say it was VR, but it should be.
Oh, yeah, it totally should be.
Like, it seems dumb to not lead with that, but maybe everyone, I don't know. I don't know. They're making a new Tempest, and Jeff Minter's making it, and it when you read the description, the bullet points that Atari sent out, you just go like, oh, you're making another one of those. It's like 100 levels of classic Tempest action and fun visuals and a retro 90s techno soundtrack.
And wait a minute. Hang on. This time fully licensed?
This time Atari, fully licensed.
They mended their fences?
Yeah, so, you know, if you remember the last time we heard from Jeff Minter in a Tempest style, it was when TXK came out on the Vita in 2014.
And then
Atari cease and desisted him to try to get it delisted.
Which was successful, right?
Which the game was on the Vita store after the cease and desist had gone out. I don't know if there was a set date it was going to disappear or what the deal was.
Let me see if you can buy that game right now.
Yeah.
Sounds like that was a mess.
Boom. That was a mess. But now maybe it's not.
Was that just Vita?
That was just Vita. And so, yeah, they're making a Tempest 4000, the follow-up to Tempest 3000, which was a Nuon game.
Nice.
I
which is the
I don't know what
follow-up
that
to
is.
Tempest. It was a DVD player that could kind of play games. Literally, that's what
Wait.
the Nuon was.
Did Nuon have a code name before that? Was it Project something?
Project Suck Ass. No, I don't know.
I think I have a rain.
That's a really bad code name.
No, like you want something that no one's gonna take seriously, so they don't realize you're actually working on something.
I feel like that would just put a really bad atmosphere over the office.
Maybe,
Like, what are you
yeah.
working on? What do you do for a living?
We're neck deep on Project Suck
I do
Ass.
UI on Project Suck Ass.
Oh man, you're on Suck Ass? I'm hearing a lot of good things.
I'm the Suck Ass guy.
Oh, dude, Suck Ass is awesome.
I'm in the business of Suck Ass.
Yeah. It's not Project Reality.
No, because I just looked at that. I thought it was
Yeah,
the same thing.
that's
That was the Nintendo 64.
No, the Nuon.
Was it VM Labs
Yeah.
that was making the Nuon?
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm trying to. Nuon. Pretty sure I have a.
Don't say Nuon 3 times in a row like that. You never know what's going to happen. We're going to all have to play Atari carts.
I'm pretty sure I have a rainbow-colored Nuon Slinky from E3, like 98,
Yep. Yeah.
on my desk at home.
Yeah, they did that. That's them.
Weird stuff.
Anyway,
You can buy TXK right now.
Okay. So maybe
Somehow.
maybe the cease and desist led to them doing business together, and now this is the announcement of that business.
Jeff
Just
Minter,
like,
an
why
agreeable
don't you
guy.
guys
Yeah.
work together on this?
Jeff
one?
Minter's just like, I don't know.
He's
It's
like, all right,
like-
fine, you guys win. Let's
Here's a
make game."
picture of a yak. Like, why would you cease and desist me? Look at this furry beastie. Leave me alone. And they went like, yeah, you're right. Fuck.
Let's get some curry and talk business.
Yeah, on your boat. And so Tempest 3000 was the follow-up to Tempest 2000, which was a Jaguar game, which is the first one of these Jeff Minter fucking weird techno-tinged remakes of Tempest. And this sounds like another one of those. And, but they're like, and I'm surprised they're calling it Tempest 4000 because, like, the number one bullet point is plays at 4K. And you're just like, it's right fucking there, you guys. Like, literally right in front of you, to call it just Tempest 4K. But that's cool that they're doing that. I like the idea that people are paying Jeff Minter to make video games.
Yes.
And Polybius was cool.
Totally.
And I think that's outstanding. Even as someone who, I think the more I think about it, I like Tempest 2000 in theory more than in practice. And even original Tempest, you go back to it, I'm like, oh, this was a cool game then. I don't know that I have a necessarily like huge love for it, but I will happily look at anything Jeff Minter puts out. I wish that Caverns of Mars style thing that came out on iOS was still available. Those got pulled off the store at some point.
That's a shame.
And that bums me out.
Jeff Minter's just going to keep doing what he does until
He's
the
going
end,
to
the
keep
end of
making
time.
freaky Tempest riffs until
That's fine.
until the money runs out, and I hope it never does.
I got no problem with that at all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we burned through so much news at the top of the show that's it. That's all I got. Let's move on to the emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com.
Are you writing lyrics to the email theme now?
Yeah. Very badly.
Motherfucker. Like, it needs to be edgy.
All right.
It needs to be now. It's 2017.
Workshop that
Shit
one.
is fucked up, man.
Let's hear what you got, Jeff.
Dark dystopian.
Let's hear what you got. I'm gonna play it again.
World is going to end in ash and flame. We are all doomed.
Motherfucker.
Die.
Emails.
Yeah.
If I could give you one point,
Yeah.
you didn't mention emails, you didn't mention the email address, you didn't mention the Giant Bombcast, you didn't mention video games, and you didn't mention entertainment.
All right. From the top.
All right,
Let's go.
I'm taking all your notes into consideration, and let's have another take. Fuck this shit, we're all dead. Oh my god, my eyes, motherfucker.
At bombcast.com.
All right. Great.
That was a distinct improvement, but you
Yeah.
The part where he said the email, you got to work emails in there in some
The
fashion.
so-
This
song
is the
is
new
called-
emails are old school. We're now.
But this
We're
is a
happening.
segment intro for the emails.
This is but we're transitioning that now.
This is the segment about the emails.
These are about the DMs.
I think you have to mention
DM us at.
what the segment is about at least once. Can we try it one more time?
All right, one more. Oh God, it burns. I died. There you go. What do you think?
Oh, well, we'll fix it in post.
Great.
Yeah. Yep.
Great.
All this will be cut out.
All right, I'll send you my invoice.
Yeah. Just send us your invoice to the email that you read during the song, and we'll be good.
First email's from
Fuck.
Will sends the first email. Licensing be damned. What would be the roster for a PlayStation 1 Classic? Or would it be PSX? Does it look like the last iteration PS1 SKU? What about controllers, originals or DualShocks? Would you prefer having protruding removable memory cards? Do the SCIE and PlayStation splash screens play for each game or just on startup? Considering game sizes being in the hundreds of megabytes, the list would need to be pretty concise. Maybe 10 titles. That's it. That was a lot of questions.
Yeah, that was a lot.
I definitely don't want the peripherals. Like, I don't want memory cards. I want that shit to be built in. Of course, you know.
I'm with you on that.
And you would
have to have DualShocks.
You'd have to be a DualShock because you would probably put something like an Ape Escape on there or something, a
yeah.
Gran Turismo or 2 or
I think it would have to look like a small original PlayStation and not the PS1.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Not the PS.
I think the slightly ugly angular one is the PlayStation of record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
What else did he ask?
Like what games would you
besides
put on it?
besides roster? That's obviously.
I'd trade them all for
I think
new
you
Ape Escape.
I think you do the classic bow thing. You do that once.
Yeah, do that once.
Into the menu, yeah.
And then you get a menu.
Well, I want Metal Gear on there.
All right, yeah. He says 10
That
games.
makes sense. Yeah.
I've pulled up the full list of PlayStation games, which is a fucking mile long.
Motor Tune Grand Prix.
Holy shit! There are
Masters of Terrace Kasi.
a lot of PlayStation games.
Kingsfield.
No,
I'm
sorry.
No, game sucks.
Blood Rain.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Wu-Tang Shaolin style.
Now we're talking. Wait, it never came out.
No,
it did. Thrill Kill's
I
the
would
one.
that Thrill Kill
Thrill
would
Kill
be
is
the
the one
bonus
that-
11th game.
Thrill Kill is the one that never
If you
came out.
unlock all 36 chambers in Wu-Tang Shaolin style, it unlocks Thrill Kill.
Now we're talking. God, there are a lot of unreleased PlayStation games.
All of those.
A lot.
I would put RE 2.5 on there or whatever, right?
I would put
There are
Crash Bandicoot on a boat and send him away
That's
and
right.
not put him in that game.
I would put a picture of Spyro and you try to click on the picture, it says nope. Just
if
like
you
that.
click on it, your
nope.
console just turns off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unreleased PlayStation games.
Like what? Hit me. What do you got?
Actually, hang on. The way this is formatted, it looks like.
Hey,
Sorry.
how about this one?
A lot of-
Final Fantasy VII.
What's that?
It's the 7th and last Final Fantasy game.
I don't know. Without playing 1 through 6, would 7 be any good? Probably
The
not,
story
right?
wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, there are not that many that didn't come out in any. Well, there's a handful that didn't come out in any of the 3 regions, such as the famous example of Thrill Kill.
Mm-hmm.
Test Drive Rally
Okay.
never came out anywhere. Test Drive Cycles never came out anywhere.
Right.
Tempest X3,
That came out.
according to this. Wait, maybe I'm misreading the.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It came out in one of the territories.
That is kind of just Tempest 2000/3000 released on the PS1
Let's see.
while we're on the topic.
A game called Swing never came out.
Man. What are we going to do?
Let's see here. Supersonic Racers. Hang on.
I would put the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Timeless Jade Trade is the name of the game that never came out.
That's not real.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid has to be on there.
I guess Final Fantasy VII probably would make
I
that
don't
list as
know.
well. I mean,
Some form of Tekken would be great.
yeah.
I'd say Tekken
2.
3?
Tekken 2.
Or
Tekken 3 is the most feature laden.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
I
PS2.
feel like,
That's PS2.
I feel like Tekken 2 was the most groundbreaking one, though, right?
Tekken 3 was played or OG PlayStation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was.
was, yeah.
Tekken Tag was PS2.
Right.
I mean, Tekken 2 definitely made the biggest
But
impact.
Tekken 3 had the Tekken Force mode and all the other
Fucking
weird-
Tekken Ball,
I know, but like
Ball and
2 was the one where it's just like, holy shit, this looks like the arcade game.
Shut up, we're putting in 3.
Lame.
But Gone's not in it due to licensing restrictions, so it's
Fuck
better
that.
than the original release of Tekken 3 on PlayStation.
I want it gone in.
Nope.
Here's my dark horse contender. Toe Ball number 1.
Why not Toe Ball number 2?
Because 2 is not that great.
Oh, is that the Star Fox 2 of this collection?
It
never came out.
It came out in
I know it
Japan,
came
yeah.
out in Japan, but it never came out here. It never got
Toe Ball
translated.
2 has like basically like a dungeon
Like a
crawler in
roguelike.
it, like a good little, like random, like you
Yeah.
got a blue potion. What's it do? And I thought that was a cool mode.
I don't think it played as well as the first one.
Yeah, you might be right. Was the first one where you could just click in the stick to throw fireballs? Or was that 2?
I don't remember the fireballs.
Yeah.
I just remember hopping on pigs and riding them.
No, that's Tomba. We're
That's
talking about
Tomba.
Toe Ball.
Oh shit!
The fighting games.
Shit.
Yeah.
This is completely changed now. Yeah.
Yeah. Tomba 2, absolutely not.
Okay. Thank God. All right. Yeah. Let's get some fucking Tobal in there.
I don't think I ever
All of
100% figured out how to play it, but I would say Vagrant Story.
Wait,
Okay.
no.
Good one to put in there.
Fuck Tobal. What about Air Guys?
Yeah.
God
bless the
ring.
Sure.
How about Devil Dice?
Yeah.
That was a good game.
I still can't believe they made sequels to those.
Yeah, they made a ton of Zai Jumbo and all that.
I mean, we're talking German names that start with E. I'm going to say Einhander.
I want.
yeah, Einhander was a great game.
Einhander should be in there.
I want Street Fighter Alpha 3.
I want EX plus Alpha.
Yeah. Okay, you can have that. Enjoy it.
That's probably 10 games, right?
What about a
think
Tomb
so.
Raider?
I mean, you should
Oh,
put a Tomb
yeah,
Raider on there,
so-
but no.
I don't know. Symphony of the Night,
Oh,
Oh
shit.
yeah.
probably be in there.
Yeah. Gran Turismo would make that list.
Yeah.
Just take all the songs from Eiffel 65's PlayStation and put those in.
Yeah.
with your PlayStation.
Yeah.
Say
Play with
Spice World, the
PlayStation.
Spice
Yeah.
Girls game.
Hey.
I'd probably put that on there.
Okay.
That's not a bad
Bust,
game.
And
bust,
you put the cheat code
Bust a
in that
Groove.
makes him naked.
Bust a Groove,
Yeah.
yes.
Bust
Bust
a
a Groove
Groove.
should be in there.
Yeah.
Really,
Japanese version?
Yes.
Really good.
Well, that would be Bust a Move, right?
Yeah.
Really good.
Uncensored.
Yeah.
They say the N word in that game. It's crazy.
Whoa.
Fucking, you're like, what the
Yikes. I didn't know
what is
that.
this game doing?
Little Silent Hill.
Yeah.
That's
You want to
popular.
put Lil Silent Hill in there?
Just a tiny, yeah, like SD Silent Hill.
Yeah, Silent Hill
Chibi.
is
They're all chibi,
Chibi Hill.
cutified.
Now that's scary.
All right. That's 10 games, probably. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This segment of shouting out PlayStation video game names brought to you by.
This was a much more formalized process in my head. Didn't work out that way. Here we go. We talked about weird pizza mostly from Japan last week. We got all kinds of weird pizzas from different countries this week, but I picked this one from Elliot in Mexico because I think it's the best. Elliot says, here in Mexico, there are a lot of different types of pizza. Not every kind is good, but a few weeks ago, a TV commercial got my attention. The best pizza ever created, the chizza. The commercial goes into how
Like the cheat from
Yeah.
Home Runner.
the commercial goes into how not Japan, not the United States, but Mexico created this masterpiece. But what is the chizza? Well, it's very simple. A big piece of chicken covered in cheese with pepperoni topping.
We talked. That's the fucking keto pizza.
Yeah. The chicken crust.
Oh, God, that's right.
Yeah, it's not great.
This is from KFC Mexico, though.
But yeah, if this is just a fucking
they have
piece of
this in
chicken with
South
stuff
Korea,
on
too.
it,
He
then-
included the ad. It's like a literal piece of KFC chicken.
They have this
with
in South
pizza on
Korea.
it.
Yeah.
God, I
It's-
totally forgot about your dumb keto thing.
You want? It turns out when you eat pizza, you want the bread. You want that like.
Well, this is breaded, fried, like
It-
chicken finger style.
It's not the same because the crust is gonna be like chewy, not like fluffy.
I got a pizza over the weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was a double crust, very thick ass fucking Chicago style. Lot of bread.
Sauce on top.
Yeah,
Chicago style?
Yeah, some sauce in there.
Where from?
There's
Zachary's?
no, it's
Oh.
a
Patsy's?
place in town that is in Petaluma that is
Nice.
does Chicago pizza.
Chicago
Man.
style pizza is my favorite.
Pachi destroyed the last pizza that I got from them.
Really?
I've never gotten over it. Like it had clearly been like dropped or
Oh
it was just a
no!
giant mess when they
That's a
delivered it.
shame.
I've never gotten over the it was a traumatic experience. Let's see. A bunch of people asking about random games. I'm just going to go through these.
Finally,
Eric from Ontario. After the great success
rapid fire, random
of the
games.
Crash
Pow.
Bandicoot remasters, what do you guys think the chances are of a brand new Crash Bandicoot game?
0.
that's where that leads. That
think
thing
so.
sold well enough that
Yeah.
I think Activision will.
Yeah, like generated headlines.
Yeah,
right? Of people going
the
like, man, this
sales
thing
and stuff.
really
This thing kind of sold
off.
They will make a ill-conceived new
Wow.
Crash Bandicoot game.
you're
They
putting money on it.
Crash had a fucking cameo in the Skylanders cartoon on Netflix.
Crash is a character
yeah.
in the last
In the world.
Skylanders game.
Oh, that's right,
There's a Crash.
Oh,
figure.
he had a figure?
Yeah,
He's in Uncharted 4. He's a
yeah,
meme now.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like he's a legitimate meme
He's
now.
a Pokemon
Stake
catcher. Ash Bandicoot.
You stake your rep on there being a new
The-
Crash Bandicoot game.
No, I don't
Okay.
know, but
You sound
that's-
pretty confident.
I think they'll do it.
Okay.
I don't think they should, but I think they will.
Okay. All right, Nathan in Vancouver. Has there been any rumbling about a new Sim City? I would have thought that Sim City had built enough brand equity that they should have had their chance to do their, yeah, sorry about that last one, here's the game you really wanted. Or was the last one really that bad?
The last one, it was really
bad.
It was really bad.
Yeah. And also, Maxis got disbanded after that.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And like City Skylines kind of
City
filled that
Skylines.
hole for a lot of people.
And that, I mean, even
and
though,
also like there's a mobile SimCity, like SimCity Build It, I think is the iOS, the iOS and Android game that they push these days.
how long would you need to wait? What was that? 2013, I think.
I think
right?
you could do it
How
next
long?
year or
You think
something,
so?
and
Five
find a way.
years.
I think if you
Is
did
enough
it next
time?
year, your announcements would still be tinged by
Yeah.
the reaction to the last game.
I feel
but
like even
you
5
could do
years
it.
is maybe short for how.
I don't know if the trailer's good. Like, right, if your announcement is good, if you have good things to show, then that helps counteract that.
Yeah.
I bet that's one of those cases where there's probably a crew of people. Well, maybe if Max has changed status, then maybe not. But you hear a lot about EA and the process of getting games made, and just like that they want to make big things. And City Skylines was kind of an anomaly, I think, fueled in part by the reaction to SimCity, where it sold super well. But then for them to make another SimCity, they'd probably have to go and say, we can outsell that City Skylines thing. We know it. We can do it. And here's how we'll do it, and all this other stuff to convince EA to go ahead with it. And I don't see it from the business angle, really. I mean, they're doing Sims 4 for console this year. And then I would expect the next thing you hear from them would be kind of Sims 5-ish type
Of course,
stuff.
isn't Sims, it's like its own group now, right?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
So I don't even know who's, like there is no studio there ready to make a
kind of
SimCity.
assume that The Sims is still quietly making a lot of money
Yeah,
for them.
I would assume
don't.
so.
We'd have to look at their financials and see how much of a chunk it makes up. But I assume that still does well for them.
Yeah. Speaking of EA, Corey from Canada, do you think EA might ever bring back Road Rash?
No.
I would love it, complete with the Soundgarden intro.
Yeah, no.
The real video taunting you when you lose, having O'Leary constantly after you until you knock him off. I used to even slow down to get to fight more bikers. I still have a 3DO with that game.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should just play Road Rash. Like that
sounds like he's got that covered.
Like he's so specific about what he wants out of a Road Rash
Yeah.
that it's like that game exists.
Yeah.
And you couldn't. They could try to make that game again.
Yeah.
It wouldn't satisfy
You
this
think-
person.
You think it would just fuck everything up?
Yeah.
The only
Trying
thing,
to recapture all that stuff.
the only thing holding them back is Soundgarden right now. They can't get Soundgarden to do the intro, and
Yeah.
so they can't make a new one.
Sad state of affairs.
Yes.
What was the kind of spiritual successor?
Road Resurrection.
Ride to Hell
Ride to Hell
Retribution.
Retribution. No, there's that PC game that might as well be a new Road Rash
Right.
game. I didn't necessarily enjoy it
Same.
very much.
But that was early access, I think, at the time. So
yeah, maybe
if
they've
it's-
come along on it, but yeah, for the same reasons we just talked about Sim City, like Road Rash is an even bigger hill to climb. Like, what's the actual sales potential for a new Road Rash game in this day and age, compared to like the size of the games that EA tends to greenlight and publish?
Yeah.
Like it'd be great if they. I would love it if they did like if they have their EA partners or whatever they call it now. That they have these indie games being published by EA.
Yeah.
It'd be great if that was like a larger incubator program or something, or like, hey, we've got this bank of IP.
Oh yeah.
Pitch us.
Yeah.
Like start a group that takes pitches for like,
like
hey, we want to make an indie Wing Commander game.
Like an 8 to 20 person team comes along and says,
Yeah.
like, we'll make a new Road
we
Rash.
want to make a new Crusader.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we think it'd be
Man.
cool. Like
That would be great.
that would be
could be.
neat.
Yeah.
But even that,
spin it off as like an alt label or something
Right,
like that.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
their arcadey, sports games and stuff.
Yeah.
When you talk about like EA wanting to make like a big splash with big projects, like I bet it's not even worth whatever minor amount of money they would make from one of those things to run the risk of like having it go bad and tarnishing that IP.
yeah, probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to them, it's like, well, if we can't make
And they tried to do some stuff here and there over the years, right? They did that shitty Wing Commander Xbox Live Arcade game.
I have no memory of that. What?
Yeah, what was it? Prophecy? No. There was a Wing Commander game for XBLA.
Really?
That was like a multiplayer focused.
Wing Commander Arena?
Yeah.
Oh, was that like a top down?
Yeah, it was like a top-down thing.
Yeah.
Or side view, space
Yeah.
view, whatever.
Yeah.
Like just not a Wing Commander game
yeah.
really at all,
Yeah.
and just totally missed the mark. And You know, like they've taken attempts like that. They tried to do whatever they had fucking Mythic doing that Ultima that Ultima iOS thing,
and
Dungeon Keeper free to play thing.
Yep.
You know, like they had other ideas in that realm for other IPs and stuff that never came to pass. You know, so it's like they got burned on the free to play reboots of classic IP stuff, or in some cases, and then they have some of the other stuff that it's just. I just don't see a way for EA to justify it to themselves to pursue this stuff in the way that you would want them to.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Like it'd be cool if they made a classic Syndicate again.
Sure.
But then
maybe a new
Bioforge. At the same time, I didn't play very much of Satellite Rain or whatever. The new Bioforge. That's finally
it's what everybody's been waiting for.
But like the people that made the spiritual successors to these games, like often those games are well made for what they are, and you just go like, oh, this is cool,
right?
But maybe they shouldn't go back and make a new Road Rash or a new Syndicate, or maybe because it's like, how do you capture that stuff these days? It seems very difficult. I don't know. It's disappointing, but I think that's just kind of the way it is.
Seems that way. Joe writes in from Nottingham in the UK. I've recently been conversing with what I'm pretty sure is a bot via Xbox Live. Metal Plane 30615 added me on Xbox Live the other day and immediately struck up a conversation. She started by introducing herself as a 22-year-old girl straight out of college and is bored now that she has finished Tomb Raider. I believe the conversation is going to lead to my bank details at some point, but every time I ask her to sign up for cashforgold.com, the conversation restarts. I've been on Xbox Live for nearly 10 years and never seen this. Is this new? Or am I just lucky not to have had the hassle yet?
You're lucky to have it finally happen to you. This is where dreams,
I put this in here.
Matches are made.
Because I've been getting the exact same message from numerous accounts recently that all have that construction of like two words and a number, like the thing that they auto-generated gamer tags. And they all start with, hey, you around? Like I've got like a list of those.
I got a bunch of those.
I've got like a list of those in my Xbox messages right now.
I get them on my PlayStation as well.
Yeah. But the PlayStation ones are so obvious because they're all just like free PSN cards. Sign up here.
Yeah, that stuff is just like here's a link to a URL. I used to get a lot of that stuff on Xbox Live of just like spam. Of
I've never gotten obvious.
Not
spam.
an actual like bot. Yeah. So I guess they're just getting more sophisticated with their attempts. To...
This explains why you're not responding to my PlayStation messages.
I'm always hey, like, hey, you around.
Hey, you up?
Hey, you around? Want to play the second level of Destiny 1 with me? And you never respond.
Sorry.
So.
Had to turn off notifications because all those...
But no, I started getting the "Hey You Around" on PlayStation as well. So yeah,
I mean, we've got the verified accounts on PSN. We get like a litany of real messages from people posting.
I've turned off messages,
posting photos of themselves or sending voice messages or whatever. Like those are sadly real.
Those are kind of fun.
Yeah, but that's I guess like as they kind of establish these services on mobile, and you can send stuff on the PC and stuff. Like it's only a matter of time, of course, before that stuff gets automated and used for nefarious means.
Yes.
But yeah, give it a shot. Open your heart.
Man. Yeah, man.
You never know.
Yeah.
Money to be made.
Who knows where it'll take you. Nick also writes in about the Xbox One. This morning I got pushed into a new insider build of the Xbox One Dash, and yet again, Microsoft is redesigning the home layout.
The blades are back.
That's right.
Finally. I realize that the Xbox One iterations of the dashboard have never been as well received as the PS4's interface, but surely changing the layout all the time is hurting the product in the eyes of the average gamer. Besides, it's not like any company has the perfect UI for their console/PC/tablet. So why is it that every 6 months to a year, Microsoft decides to change the layout of the Dash and make their users relearn the interface?
Because it sucks.
Yeah,
it's a bad interface.
It's never been very good.
I feel like through the 360, they started with strength and redesigned it in meaningful, smart ways as they went.
Yeah, sure.
People missed the blades, but like the functionality of the 360, I feel like got better over time.
Yeah, it ended up in a pretty good place.
And I feel like the Xbox One is on the same trajectory, except it started from real bad,
so much lower,
and is now better, but still like it's slow. The notice they put out alongside this is part of the alpha ring. They have 4 different rings of preview program, I think. And I'm in the beta ring, so I actually turned my Xbox One on last night, going like, "Oh, new Dash, let's check it out," and didn't get it.
Yeah,
because I'm in beta, not alpha.
And the big thing with this one is you can design your layout, right?
Yeah,
it sounds like they're going to have modular units that you can lay out however you want.
That's the idea, I guess.
Sounds cool.
Yeah,
hopefully.
And so I saw a little bit of video of it, and it looks better. But more importantly, this is them saying we're designing it for speed. Because as I turned on my Xbox One and started going around the menus and checking for updates and doing all this stuff, every step of the way, every menu was taking forever to let me select an option. Like it was the cursor was locking up in the game library for 4 or 5 seconds while it was drawing icons. You know, like it's a bad experience now. They have to do something, especially with the Xbox One X coming out. It's a perfect time for them to.
Maybe that's their solution. Just brute force it with a faster console.
Like, God.
Xbox One UI. That's a mess.
That's a mess. Yeah. And so they have work to do. So it's good that they're doing the work, and I would very much like to see that alpha ring. I would like to check that out.
Yeah, that seems like a neat idea.
Looking at the video, like it looks neat. But for me, that dashboard has to be more performance focused. Like that's where I come out. Is like it's just too slow. Like the dashboard as is right now, like you could get used to it and certainly use it, but the sluggishness of it is going to be pervasive no matter what. Yes. And that's what they need to fix.
Yes, indeed. Tom from Lincolnshire, UK. This one's for Jeff. What's up with Ice-T's body count?
It's a metal band.
Oh.
He wanted to start a metal band.
Yeah.
And he did.
And the story.
I think they put out an album either earlier this year or late last year or something like that people said was all right. I heard one track off it and went like, okay.
I would say body count was a big deal of a certain type in the 90s.
Yes, yeah.
For a period of time.
Yes.
That's what you got.
That's it. Yeah, there's nothing.
That's all you know?
Yeah, no, there's not. I don't know.
All right.
I'm not really into metal that much. So.
Email's a little thin this week. Scraping the barrel here.
I mean, Cop Killer is an all right song.
Yeah.
For all of its.
That was the one that was the big. That was the thing.
Charlton Heston in court.
I forgot it.
Reading lyrics to Cop Killer.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
All right.
Juan writes in about No Man's Sky. Hey guys, wondering if you have looked into the ARG going on right now that appears to be related to No Man's Sky. It's called Waking Titan, and it looks like it's leading toward the next big expansion or patch to the game. It's been fascinating to follow, and it looks like it will conclude sometime in August in connection with the game's 1-year anniversary. Like many others, I played the game when it first came out, but quickly dropped it and asked for a refund on Steam. Since then, the game has received the Foundation update and the Pathfinder update and appears to have been greatly improved. What would it take for you guys to jump back into the game? Looks like this new update coming up with the conclusion of the ARG will be huge. Some people think part of the update is full-blown real-time multiplayer.
I would totally jump in on a new update. I never played it. I never played the first version, so to check it out now with those two huge updates plus a third thing that would get more people back into it at the same time is appealing to me.
I don't know. They put out these big updates, then I read the patch notes and said like, oh, that seems like stuff that they should have shipped with.
Yeah.
But none of it was enough to make me want to actually play it.
None of those additions individually was like, well, that's cool that it's there, but I'm not going to...
I felt very bored by the game originally, and so I don't know what it would take to shake that feeling off beyond like a... it'd have to be dramatic, but like adding full-blown multiplayer to it is not the thing.
Yeah,
I would say.
That's
not something that would...
For me, it would depend on what
do you do?
What it let you do with other people. Yeah, because if all it is being able to see other people running around in your world, that's not especially meaningful.
Yeah.
Is it combat? Is it we're building together?
Right. Are there quests that multiple people can
Are we
collaborate
going on a grand adventure?
Yeah.
Is there stuff to do?
Yeah. Are there like group dogfights or like what's the deal? Yeah,
right.
I would want to know. This ARG has been going for what feels like a very long time to me.
I feel like
I've been waiting for it to wrap up.
I
keep checking in on it, and it hasn't been developing fast enough for me to say, like, okay, this is really exciting.
Also, I just,
Let's see where this goes.
And maybe some people feel differently about it because they feel like those updates kind of started to turn the game around for them personally. But as someone who didn't bite on those updates and still has the same feeling about that game that I had at launch, having an ARG around an update when you should just be finishing it and getting your update out there, that's not just work on the game. Like they're in such a reputation hole that like
I could see it it depends who they're trying to get. If they're trying to get the people who are like me, who were really always super curious about No Man's Sky and kind of following it and being like super on the fence about it, and then once it came out, just hearing reception and choosing not to play it, but like still kind of keeping an ear to the ground on it, then this ARG thing, granted I haven't been following it, but I could see myself getting wrapped up. I'm also a sucker for ARGs though.
I like them too, but
except when Blizzard.
Well, there are plenty of bad ones, and that's the problem, is that there are plenty of ARGs that have really bad payoffs. So,
unlike the ones in Lost, the only good ARGs to ever exist.
I don't have a television.
Hurley was he was eating the Dharma snacks.
Great. Sounds fascinating.
Cool.
It was really funny.
Next email comes in from Justin. Baton Rouge.
His email's just in time.
Mm-hmm.
My mic fell over.
Yeah, it sure did. Justin says, I was hoping for a reveal from the Rising Thunder devs at EVO and was disappointing when nothing showed up. It has been a while since they were acquired by Riot, and I was wondering when you think we might see something from them.
I'm less hoping
for
a reveal and more of like just a signal of life. Just a sign of life. We're fine, we're alive, we're here.
Considering how many people work at Riot and how many games that company has put out to date,
and how many games that company has developed and then not shipped.
That's the subtext.
Yeah.
Is I'm going to say, don't hold your breath. I'm sure they're working on something.
Yeah, they've got to be. Pick up an entire.
But also, if you
if
you think about Riot and the kind of bigger picture of what they're focused on,
like
it's
making
networking, making a new internet. Then hiring the people that developed GGPO. Benefits that as well. So you almost wonder, did they pick them up because they really like the game and the idea of the game, or did they pick them up because these guys are networking wizards who could help them on that front?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, what's the status of Rising Thunder or a game or another game using Rising Thunder's ideas?
I would be super into the idea of a Rising Thunder-esque, very accessible, very light fighter, but with League characters to try and get League players into fighting games. That seems like a perfect bridge.
When that was first announced, I immediately started looking at League characters, and I'm like, wow, I could totally see this mashup for sure. On the subject of accessible fighters, though, Fantasy Strike, I think that's a David Sirlin joint. Getting some good.
It had a pretty big graphical overhaul.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah. My first super early impressions were not positive. I did not like how that played or looked. But
I have a friend who's
check it out again.
One of the testers, and so I was checking out some really early stuff, and it immediately turned. I mean, it was super pre-alpha.
Okay.
But now, from what I saw at Evo, it looks like it is almost. They almost have a online beta up.
Great.
So people will be able to jump in soon. But that looks like a great accessible game from a dude who knows a lot about fighting games.
True. He can down medium punch with the best of them. Alpha 2.
Dan from Tasmania. Last night I had a dream that John Drake was in bed with my wife. I'm pretty sure they were just talking. Anyway, he said that he'd just gotten back into World of Warcraft, but he played Alliance and I played Horde.
Oh.
I was willing to switch factions, but I'm not sure what class to play. If you were going back to World of Warcraft again, what would it be and why?
Never played it.
What class would you roll to play with John Drake?
John Drake seems to me as kind of not a hard support, but kind of somebody who can be a tank maybe, or it seems
like a utility guy.
Yeah,
he's not a healer, but he's not.
He's getting shit done with your party. He doesn't want
to be the DPS. He's not. He's not a glory hound.
Yeah,
he wants to make sure that everything is running smoothly.
Yeah, he wants to make sure that it's getting done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's keeping the party together,
but not fully on the back lines either.
Yeah.
I can see him getting up in the shit when he needs to.
Yeah.
So something to complement that is maybe something.
I would want to back him up. I would want to play a class that could back up John Drake.
Okay.
On his endeavors,
while he's backing up whoever's out there doing the damage.
Yeah, I could be the backup to the backup.
Okay.
Yeah. I could be the healer that keeps him going.
All right.
While he keeps Matt Kessler going.
Yeah.
Oh no. Kessler is the least DPS
Yeah, no,
of MMO players I have ever. Kessler's on the back line,
Okay.
making sure everybody's okay.
All right.
Let's see. Jeff writes in about plastic 40 bottles.
Yeah, I did.
You
They're-
could've just
they're
asked
dumb.
me.
It's Jeff with a G. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it's pronounced get off.
Mm.
Yes. Gioff writes in. I work for a company that works with beer and wine wholesalers.
Nice.
The story behind the plastic 40-ounce bottles comes entirely from cost-cutting measures via Miller Coors,
Okay.
the joint venture of Molson Coors and Miller Brewing in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
God, this is a lot of business. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Since plastic is much lighter than glass, shipping cost on plastic bottles and the breakage in the beer warehouses was supposed to be much less. This was the pitch to the wholesalers when the decision was made. The issues and why they switched back are as follows. Number one, double-stacked pallets of 40s in plastic bottles are much less stable than glass,
Oh, yeah.
causing potential stacks of beer... sorry, his wording is a little weird here. Causing potential stacks of beer to fall over in your local beer warehouse. This is both a huge risk and a huge cost for distributors. Two, this means that stacking these 2 pallets high is a must instead of 3 pallets high. This cuts out roughly 33% of the possible storage space, making distributors much less happy about storing the lower profit margin products, therefore reducing the amount of inventory they can carry, et cetera, more business stuff. In my conversations at wholesalers, they hate the product and saw a significant drop in sales since the switch. The switch has since been reversed in most states, but some of the underlying inventory may still remain.
So grab them up while you can. The
That's
collector's
right.
items.
Yeah, it's collector's plastic 40s.
Yes. Anyway,
Baby's first 40.
a lot of this email is a lot of inside business about AB InBev and just like
Oh, yeah.
crazy high-level beverage conglomerate shit. But yeah, it sounds like it was just straight up bad distribution stuff.
That makes sense.
They got him to
Yeah.
go back to glass.
That's
Thank God.
He also mentions there was also a notion from customers that the switch caused the liquid to not stay cold as long, which was also a drop in sales.
right. Yeah. I can see it.
So get your...
The Rocky Mountains never got blue enough.
Mhm.
That's right. Go get a glass 40. Do it right. Brendan? All right.
And recycle it when you're done
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
by throwing it into your recycle bin as hard as you can and enjoying the sound of breaking glass.
Just do the prep work for them.
Yeah.
Get ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how glass is recycled. All right. Last 2 or 3 emails. Maybe we'll do all 3 of these.
All right.
I held all these last week because a bunch of emails poured in from across the Anglosphere about slang.
A word?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This one's from Brendan. I lived in Australia for a year a little while back. Their
Crikey.
slang, yes, indeed. That's, yes, right there on the top of
Mhm.
the list. Their slang really is colorful, and their willful mispronunciation of common words only complicates matters further. To start, Arvo truly is afternoon. I had a conversation with a Kiwi girl who was trying to describe how something was uncommon. She kept using the word rear to describe the situation. I naturally extrapolated that in New Zealand, things that were uncommon were referred to as things that were backwards, as in outdated. This is not actually the case, and her use of the word rear was simply a mispronunciation of the synonym for uncommon, that is rare.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Here are a few of my favorite, unexpected from the North American perspective, Australian slang words. Bizzo.
I'm busy.
Is it the same as 2 Live Crews?
Yes.
Definition of the word bizzo from the song My 7 Bizzos?
It is business.
It is not. Okay. It does not line up with.
What is there?
I think I know.
Is that not repeatable here?
It's a lady.
Okay, I see. Okay, no. A bottle-o.
Is it a bottle opener?
A bottle?
This is a liquor store.
Oh, all right.
A garbo.
It's a garbage
That's my
store.
mouth.
Garbage man.
Okay.
A yabo.
That's like an idiot or a.
A slob.
Yeah,
Yabo
okay, yeah,
dabo
close.
do.
That's
yeah.
close. Servo.
It's like a gumball machine with arms.
It's not bad. It's a gas station.
Okay.
There you go. Let's see. These emails are formatted very strangely. This one is from Josh. After last week's Australian slang terms, I thought it would be fun to do one with some terms from Scotland.
Oi.
Haggis.
The very next sentence is also, I would love to hear Ben do a Scottish accent after his impeccable Aussie one.
No problem, matey.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you nailed it. That's yeah, man. You're like a McTavish over there.
Scottish pirate.
It's like Soper. It's like
Oh, we all talk like this in
like
the
Captain
old
Price is right
country.
Oh boy.
No, he's I don't know.
Governor.
Governor. Yeah.
All right. Greeting.
Like
Like a greeting.
like au gratin potatoes.
Crying,
Okay.
apparently.
My baby is greeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scottish Ben. Steaming.
Oh,
like,
I'm steaming
that's
over the big cricket match.
Yeah. He's either being angry or being drunk or pooping.
Drunk.
Okay.
Smashed. Pretty obvious. Drunk.
Drunk.
Okay, yeah.
Are all these drunk?
Rat arsed.
Drunk.
Drunk.
Yeah.
I'm rat-arsed.
Oh boy.
Me and me mates are getting rat-arsed.
Some of these are way too esoteric to even be worth reading. Here's one.
I'm going to
Jobby.
start saying that, but I'm going to say a rat-assed. We got rat-assed the other day.
I'm going to say ratast.
We got rat-assed.
Jobby.
That's like a
I can't
a
say what
cab
that is
driver.
here.
Poop.
Oh, all right.
Somehow. A ball bag.
That's like you keep bowling balls.
Ball bag?
Scrotum. So yes.
What? That's not slang. That's
You got me.
all right.
Some of these are really dumb. Backy is tobacco. A numpty is a lovable idiot.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
A gaff is a house. Heavin means very busy. As in work was heavin this evening.
Even.
It's a heaving, so
Yeah.
I'm going to get rat-arsed.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe.
There you go.
Yeah. Scottish pirates. Huge
Let's
huge
see.
problem.
On the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think we're going to call it there, actually.
The Moors.
Mutton!
Would you take us out, Scottish Ben?
Mutton!
Judes.
Martin!
Is he saying Martin?
Martin.
Like the show?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Martin. This Martin's got me rat-arsed.
What is he saying?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Me and my mates are gonna go down to the drinking save and get rat-arsed on some...
You say the drinking save?
Yeah. We're thrifty.
All right. Yeah.
Scotland's weird.
Yeah.
How long have you lived there?
14 days. I picked up the accent very quickly.
Yeah.
Governor.
Picked it up well.
Governor matey.
You sound like a native. You sound just like.
I've got to go forever now. Goodbye.
Thanks, Scottish Ben.
Yep.
There he goes, running out the door.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Take us out of emails.
Email us at joebob.ro and get all your mateys online to email us all your questions. And I'm never doing an accent again.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that.
I feel like we're committing a crime. I feel like we're actually breaking some kind of law.
I took 4 years of speech therapy to be able to do these accents.
Yeah. It's,
Oh.
you should get your money back on that one.
There's a Scottish ghost in here.
Yeah.
We need to get out of here.
Oh, I caught a Scottish ghost once.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah. I was on the toilet for like a week.
Oh, wow. That's a rough one.
Yeah.
It's the spiciest one in the world, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's it for emails. Let's get out of here. Let's end this podcast.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Yay. What are you guys doing this week?
Oh man, we got a bunch of stuff in the works. Like
Yeah.
we got a site redesign in the pipeline right now that is coming along pretty well.
Mhm.
So looking at some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm going to play the video game Kingdom Hearts 1
Are you?
at some point this week.
Really?
Definitively.
That's doing this on your
news
own
to
time,
me.
or what are you doing?
I'm going to play it.
Okay. All right.
By yourself or?
No, I mean, I got Brad.
Oh,
After a long hiatus, Kingdom Hearts is back.
A long hiatus of
How,
like 9 days.
how exciting for everyone involved that more Kingdom Hearts will be on the website.
Oh, yeah, just let me know when you're
on
free.
the internet. Okay, sure. Can't wait.
Dota.
What?
Dota.
Okay.
Also Dota.
Okay. Let's do some of that too.
I've been working on something.
Yes.
We'll see if it's done in time. If not this week, then next week. But I've put a lot of effort into
Okay.
this, and
It's exciting.
I'm excited.
All right.
Yeah, and we're kicking around another thing that'll probably start up in a couple of weeks here.
Yes.
We get it going.
All right.
Yeah.
Stick with our usual strategy of not actually saying anything until it's ready to go.
Yeah.
Go to the website,
All right.
giantbomb.com. Every day, every hour. Maybe there's going to be new content. I don't know. Probably not every hour, but at least once a day.
Yep. Tune in every single day. All right, that's going to do it for this podcast. We need to shut this stupid thing down. We'll see you next week. Bye.